Carmelo Anthony's case, the possible legal errors, and why many foundational Black Americans are turning to the blackout as a response to recent events. Tell somebody to tell somebody it's about to go down right here on YouTube. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody is doing well. Let me get an amen if you're doing well. That's what I'm talking about. As my brothers say, we are blessed and highly favored. Y'all better stop playing in here. Brother Tag, give me the thumbs up when you are ready. Welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge, the OG Wisdom Podcast, very own Tad Talks in the building. What's happening, brother? What's happening? What's happening?
Peace, sis. Peace. I'm happy to be here, man. You know, just dropped the grandbabies off, you know, shuffling around Brooklyn, doing the 1-2. I tell you, man, regardless of what we go through, it ain't nothing better than spending time with family.
Ain't that the truth?
Oh, man. Life is good, sis. Life is real good.
Ain't that the truth, man? I tell you, I really enjoy spending time with my family. I put that above anything. So,
Yeah.
You know, some people have a long weekend ahead. If you do, try to get some time in with your loved ones if you can. Brother Black, give me the thumbs up when you are ready. Welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge by way of the BX. Brother Blacksmith, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
I'm chilling. Yo, how y'all doing today? What's going on? What's going on, New York? What's going on in the world? What's going on?
Brother, good.
The Knicks parade is going on with them people from the Bronx not knowing how to act, climbing all over light poles and twerking in the middle of the street. I'm like, oh boy.
These transplants.
Where they doing it at?
All throughout New York, man.
How you know they from the Bronx?
Because that's Bronx behavior.
Yup. Typical Bronx behavior.
Okay.
You know, one of my coworkers called me today. She said, you know, she was talking to her husband, who's also a good friend of mine. Shout out to Fort Greene. But anyway, she was saying, you know, to him, all these people are fake. She said, Keisha been a Knicks fan. She got Stephon Marbury limited edition posters, jerseys. Oh yeah, I got some collected works here. But I'm leaving that all to the grandson. I definitely have some collected works. And I talked to my daughter yesterday. Shout out to the hubby. Yesterday was his birthday. But
shout out.
Happy born day.
Thank
Big
you.
up the man.
He in there watching. Keep it down so I don't get no feedback, but he in there watching. But anyway, she was saying, Ma, I remember when I was a little girl and used to take me to the Knicks game. I don't know where these people come from. Who are these people? Papa, who this woman climbing on light poles? Who is this woman? I said, Lord Jesus, snatching people off light poles.
So you saw that one. I was about to ask you.
She. I could tell they ain't of the lineage, boy. Especially with that crystal blue piece she had on the back of her head.
Yeah.
I assumed when the Nets I had assumed when the Nets I had assumed when the Nets moved down the block from Tad that all Brooklynites was going to be Brooklyn Net fans, but I don't see that happening.
Nah.
Why? Because of Jay-Z?
Nah, we just true to who we are. They the new kids on the block. They part of the gentrification code.
So who y'all like more? So with that said, who y'all like more, the Mets or the Yankees?
I never liked baseball, so I don't matter.
I'm about to say,
I think really baseball is for the mentally challenged. You know, that's why, you know, a lot of Bob Louis play because they're a little slow. And I'm being true to that. You had to go to school with them. They in them bilingual classes. They ain't got it all together. So, you know, that's why a lot of them play that. I'm not into baseball. I can't tell you nothing. I can't tell you who plays, when they play. I don't know nothing about that at all. But the same thing with football. I'm football illiterate. You know, when I want to know about football, I ask the hubby. I got Uncle Jesse, Aunt Marie. I can ask them. I don't know.
Shout out to them.
Russ. I don't know nothing about that. So sorry. But I actually used to play basketball in junior high and in the summer leagues in Fort Greene. So that was my first love. And actually, my stepfather and I, he used to ask me about the stats of all the teams and stuff when I was a teenager because I was really into it. I kind of fell off watching it because of the shenanigans that's going on, and it's more of an offensive game than defense. I'm from the days when Oakley will bust you in your forehead, Mason will yoke you up, and you'll feel that. Now everybody in their feelings, child.
You talking about when it was basketball, right?
Yes.
When it was basketball.
Right.
Games ended 88-79 and stuff like that.
But what was really cool? Because Charles Oakley got his lawsuit against James Dolan, who was the owner of the Knicks. So they wouldn't allow him to come to the Garden to see any other games, along with the rest of the former players. But today he showed up at a restaurant in Harlem. And when I tell you they showed him so much love, I love Oakley. I love Charles Oakley. He's a man's man.
And sis, that's where I was going to go with it, because I think this day and age, it's so much sensitive people. I realize the internet is the coward's playground. Me and Doggy was doing the show the other day. Shout out to Joe Prince Miller. And
shout out to Doggy Diamonds. That was a dope interview.
Yeah. Well, I had to big us up.
Yes, y'all can catch the replay on our Facebook page. Go ahead.
But no, me and him was having a behind the scenes conversation. And I realized with the internet, it's so many cowards. And they hide themselves behind intellectualism. Some of them don't even show their face. But Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said to overthrow white supremacy, it takes strong, masculine male muscle. All these people are Dr. Umars and Brother Polites cloaked with keyboards. They just want to talk about the problem. You and I know what we do off of these platforms. We can't talk about it. We don't want to get indicted. But it's funny how everybody is so against the scary white man, the boogeyman, but they ain't ready to take no action. Now, shout out to my brother Irritated Genie. Shout out to my brother King Simon. They know who about that action. I'm talking about against the quote-unquote race soldiers. All of these colloquial terms that people like to use when they step on these platforms. But we know they're not about this life. And I'm going to talk to you off air, sis, because I listen, I watch, and I laugh. Because these people are not serious about what we call the quote-unquote work. People don't have a call to action. What Sister Brooke always tell you? Send them emails in. Sister, what you told them? How to divorce these plantations. These other platforms are doing. They ain't doing nothing but crying, whining about the boogeyman. Oh, they did this, they did that. But what you going to do about it? What are you going to do? Keep crying? 5, 10, 20 years? Ain't that why we kind of fell back from so many people in the movement and things like that? Because these people are not about that action. It's a lot of rhetoric. To show you better than I can tell you. That's why we keep Black around. Because we know there's some action. Black gonna pull out his Bronx behavior and get buck wild.
Listen.
Like, turn Black loose. Get him Black.
Black is a former military man. I don't want no problems.
Hey, Keisha, if Tag keep it up, I'm gonna be twerking on Fulton and Atlantic.
You better don't.
On that note,
unplug his mic.
Sister Marcia, are you ready?
Oh,
you need another minute? I'll pull you out. You good? Okay, you good? All right. Let me give some shout outs real quick. Glad the family is rocking out with us. A Law Solution, Chi-Town in the building. Glad you rocking out with us on the Brooklyn Bridge. Kimberly Powell, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? I am a mirror. B1 family, what's good? What's good? What's good? Tigger 121, what's good with you? Hope you rocking out, chilling with us for the whole night. Sister Joyce, Brother Monty, Suffolk County, on the check-in. What's happening? What's happening? Our regular supporter, like no other, Sister Tanisha Murdoch. What's good? What's good? What's good? Vanessa, I got a treat for you tonight. I got a treat for you tonight. Alabama is getting it tonight. We're going to show you some clear history and law related and came out of Alabama that everybody benefits from. You know, when you think about the Alabama brawl, I said it before on this platform, you know, they picked up the folding chair created by foundational Black American man in the state of Alabama. And if you don't know how significant Alabama is, you don't know the Constitution. The 14th Amendment comes out of Alabama. So we're going to get into all of that a little bit later. Aunt Marie on the check-in, Brownsville Finest. What's good? What's good? What's good? Glad you rocking out. Andrea Jones in the building. B1 family, what's good? What's good? What's good? Brandon, what it is, the lineage on deck. You already know, Naturally me, 25. Peace to you and yours. Glad you rocking out with us on the Brooklyn Bridge for another Thursday in the building. Yes, indeed. So, Gary Williams 2230. What's happening? Glad you rocking out with us on the Brooklyn Bridge. Who did I miss? Sylvia, what's happening? Glad you rocking out with us on the Brooklyn Bridge. You know, I got a message from TikTok. It's somebody who had been looking for Thorough Black Talk and glad that they were able to find us, and also asked the question if I ever did radio before this. Actually, no, but I used to host Eastern Star dances. So from the age of 15, actually, I used to host those dances. And of course, those of you on the platform know me as being an MC for UAM. You have to have a way to project. And so I mastered that as a minor in John Jay when I attended that college. So thank you. If you like the voice, I appreciate it. If you don't, I still appreciate it. So, Sister Marcia, how have you been?
Peace, family. I have been well. Just trucking in these streets and in this dirt. I can't say anything else, but happy to see everyone. Happy Blacktastic Thursday.
Peace to you, sis. Shout out to the Church of Black Power. If you don't know, you should know. Give them a follow for me. Let them know that Thorough Black Talk sent you through. So tomorrow is Juneteenth. Shout out to the people of Texas, in particular Galveston. If you don't know, you should know. But a lot of things have been, a little screwy, with this holiday and people trying to come up off of it, if you will, but not for the benefit of the lineage, but for the benefit of themselves. And I got into a little debate on X with someone about the flag. But, and he said, he lives in Texas. But of course he has a Pan-African mindset. And so he believes in that red, black, and green, even though the people who actually come out of there will tell you that ain't what they want. But anyway, let's deal with our brother, Dr. Ben Hay. Shall we? Shout out to Actively Black. If you don't have a piece of their clothing, then you don't know what you're talking about. When I tell you quality athletic wear, it is quality. So you can definitely check out their clothing line on their website, activelyblack.com.
The colors, the red, white, and blue.
I'm glad you say that. Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Lanny, because that's the reason. I said, hey, look, I knew about the Pan-African flag, and I knew there would be some controversy. There's some people who were saying, hey, we don't need another flag, no flag. I said, no, our ancestors made this country great. How's that one? They helped make this country great.
Facts.
One of the things that bothers me is that with a lot of these so-called conscious folks that, they will throw our folks in the garbage for somebody else who came on these shores to copy what they were doing already. You know, I was taught, and if I'm wrong, y'all let me know if I'm wrong, but the original is always better than the copy. If I'm wrong, y'all let me know, because I don't know. But, you know, the original is always better than the copy. So I would rather... Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So if I was going to get the copy or ride with the copy and say the copy was the best, then something might be wrong with my brain cells, right? So I don't understand how people would put another flag before their own. And if you didn't know about it, hey, we all learn every day, right? If you're not learning something new every day, you're an idiot forever. You know, never profess to know it all. I don't know it all. That's for sure. You know, I will ask some questions for sure, if I don't know. But if you don't know, you know, we live in a world where technology and information is at your fingertips. Find out before you start spewing a lot of misinformation, if you will.
Actually has its own flag, and most people have never seen it. The star has a dual meaning. One, it represents Texas, the Lone Star State, and it also represents the freedom of foundational Black Americans across all 50 states. And the burst around it represents a new beginning, the birth of a new day, and a fresh start for newly freed people. The same colors as the American flag, because the message is clear. Our freedom is American history, not borrowed from somewhere else. This Juneteenth, don't let corporate America tell you how to represent our foundational Black American holiday. And let me know in the comments, did you know this already? So Juneteenth.
A lot of Black American businesses are offering a lot of deals this weekend. Some are extending to the end of the month. Actually, with this blackout, you know, people like to call it a boycott. I'm not into that, but this blackout, a lot of Black American businesses are beginning to flourish, and that's a good thing, right? We live in an age where e-commerce runs the yard, so you don't have to be in a particular city or town to get certain things, right? When they had the Target boycott, I don't shop at Target. I didn't need a boycott to tell me. I don't shop at Target because they price gouge. And I'm particular about my coins. Now, I don't know about nobody. If you like giving extra coins to people who are cheating you out your money, then by all means, go ahead and do that. But I'm telling you that they price gouge. They can have the same product and sell it for $2 or $3 more than a Walmart, and they get the same exact deals as a Walmart. And I'm telling you this as a person who works on the manufacturing side, that they are price gougers. So that's why I don't shop there. I don't care how many Black businesses there. If they have their business or their product online, I will purchase it online before I go into that store. They price gouge, so I don't shop there. That's just me. I don't go to Dr. J's because they follow people around in the store. They're open. I don't even know. Marcia said, yeah, I don't even know. So, you know,
it's Vims. They put your picture all up. If they find you suspicious, you got your picture all plastered in front. Yeah.
Right. If you're in a particular shop and they treat you unfairly, then you shouldn't continue to go there. If you keep going there, you're an idiot. You know. So I never was treated bad in VIM. I don't even shop there. So, you know, I don't know when the last time I shopped there, but Dr. J's, the last time I shopped there was in the 90s. You only got one time to play with me and my coin, and I'm done, for real. But like I said, we live in an e-commerce world, so you can get things, you know, where that's Black owned if you want, or if you don't want Black owned, you know. But I would encourage all of us to participate in businesses that give back to us. Right? You have a lot of businesses in your community by the Indians, by the Chinese, by other brown immigrants, but they never hire one of us and give you a nasty attitude. Well, I don't have to spend my money there, you know, and I mean business. Ask the hubby in the room. I'll call him in if you want to. I don't play about my coin. You ain't gonna treat me bad and get my money. You out your goddamn mind. So that's just me. But kudos to all the Black businesses who are growing. And if you have a business and you would like to get your product out there or let people know what it is that you offer, Doggy Diamonds TV has a nice package where he will post all of your information on his social media platforms, all of them, and spread it throughout the internet sphere, if you will. So you can reach out to him and then tell him that, that what Black Talk sent you. Shout out to Arnold in the building. Intrigue. What's good? What's good? What's good? Noah, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Glad you rocking out with us. Let's get into it, family. Let's get into it. So you have people discussing what could happen now with this Carmelo Anthony case. So last week, and even on OG Wisdom podcast, we touched on it. What could be done in an appeal? Now, it may go to a higher court, and the higher court may send it back to the lower court. I don't know what the plan is because I'm not on his legal team. And as far as I know, no information has been released about what their plans are. And if they're smart, they wouldn't be telling. So I hope the family was able to hire some people who can really help them around this time, because a lot of law was broken. There were several cases that we're going to discuss tonight. When I mentioned on this platform and also on the OG Wisdom podcast that the criminal and civil courts are infested with racism, I'm going to show you the cases that tell us exactly what I said. Last week, Brother Black asked me to expound on Judge Roger Taney's dictum that a white man has no rights, that a black man has no rights, that a white man is bound to respect. I'm going to show you in law where or why Roger Taney gave that dictum. When you look at Jeff Metcalf, who was the father of the deceased, the alleged victim of Carmelo Anthony, he talks about how we don't know how to answer questions. We go into a jury pool, things of that nature. Everything he said, he's just repeating what's already in law. And, people like Charles Hamilton Houston and others work very hard to turn those things around. So let me play this for those who didn't see some of the stuff that Metcalf was saying. This race soldier here. Let me let it play. Hold on.
Baby mamas running around with 8 kids so they can get EBT cards to feed you all. You think I'm being racist? No, I'm being real. Oh, you've got more melanin than me. Ooh, so you get more privileges, more entitlement? Because 400 years ago, someone actually sold you to us, and we took you over here and put you to work. And then we had a civil war to free your ass. And now you want to talk shit? Oh, I've been so oppressed.
Let's stop there for a second. He said a civil war to free us, when it was Abraham Lincoln who set up a meeting with Martin Delany, asking Dr. Martin Delany, to speak to black men to join the Union to help them because they was getting their asses kicked. It wasn't until we came on the scene that war began to be progressive for the Union. Hold on.
Didn't even vote 1960. Look how far you've come. Look at all the free shit we give you. You're not oppressed.
Here's another lie. The black man had the right to vote before the white woman. The black man attained the right to vote in 1870, I believe. So where the hell he get this information from? The black woman didn't start voting until the 1920s. And in some southern states, they prohibit her from voting. And so she got legal right or access during the second civil rights movement in the 1960s, right? Because some people get things misconstrued. The first Civil Rights Act was passed in 1866. All right. So just for some clarity here.
You're fucking entitled. You know what DEI stands for? Yeah. Means I don't have to be fucking qualified. I just have to be a certain color or a race or gender.
Statistics have shown that the beneficiaries of DEI are white women and immigrants and the LGBTQ community. That's just a fact. All right, let's continue.
Whose broad ass idea was that? I'm gonna tell you right now. Charleston White, you think you're funny? We'll see who's laughing. Drew Anthony, you're a pussy and a coward, and you raised one. Kayla, you drunk bitch. What'd you do to that boy to make him stab somebody? My God, what kind of mother are you?
He didn't say that when he was beating the hell out of his own wife, where his twin sons had to stop him from beating the hell out of his own wife. Now, what kind of mother or father are you? You see, they are just projecting. This is what he's doing. He's projecting. Let's go.
Hey, Kevin Hayes, you fucking liar. Day after it happened. How many lies did you sit and type up on your keyboard, you big keyboard warrior? You a big tough man. You still live in Baton Rouge? Talk, Mr. Squeaky Clean. You're the only one in your family without a damn record. I guess that's something to brag about in your culture.
If you can, in your leisure, Google his record, because he has one. Let's continue.
You people hang your hat on the dumbest shit I've ever seen. Y'all can let me make something racist up so y'all can go viral. I got a new name for Mello, okay? Because he was such this little boy y'all was trying to portray. How about Watermelon Felon? How's that one strike you? I hope he enjoyed his first night in that cell last night, because he's going to have many nights to think about what the fuck he did. Tiffany Billions. I don't know what kind of glamour shot you steal from other people and put up on your profile, but it don't match to your fucking goddamn water buffalo looking ass when I saw you at the courthouse. Charleston White, you look like a fucking crackhead. Even though you got money, you're the only smart person around. Hoo-hoo. Hoo-hoo. You're a grifting piece of shit. Your character says it all. I don't have to say a damn word. Your actions speak.
So, your thoughts, panel. Let me see if the team is ready. All right, they still behind the scenes getting ready. We'll let them get ready. All right. Anybody want to jump on this? You know, to give this feel of this dude.
Take this.
Go ahead.
I gotta take this one. I don't know if you saw recent developments with Charleston White doing what he's doing, but
right.
He's now back on the Metcalf side and saying he's gonna help them and blase this, and calling Carmelo's father weak because, you know, he wanted the money outside of the court case to go to them so they could, I guess, breathe a little easier. They had to move as a result of getting all those threats, because Frisco is mostly white. You know, it's other people there, but it's majority white. So we already know how that go. And the people that are from there all know each other, because it was a sleepy time. I told y'all last week it grew 400% since the year 2000, which is not a long time considering these people are all in their probably 40s and up. So if they know each other for the last 20, 30 years, then as you said as well, Sister Keisha, and I said the same thing when I was shocked that they didn't change the venue. That should have been the first thing should have been done in a small town that way. I mean, it's a city, it's not a town, but you know, it's still small considering how fast it's grown in the last 20 to 30 years. So, you know, all that is bravado and all this and that, because when Carmelo get out, and I hope sooner than later, a lot of these people gonna have egg on their face, and they ain't gonna know how to talk about it. These people are gonna have to go into some type of witness protection program or something like that. They can't live in that area anymore, and that's my take.
Anybody else before I move on?
Yeah. I laugh at them. I laugh at all of them. I laugh at Metcalf. I laugh at Charleston White. All this anti-black sentiment. It's funny how people say they're for black people, but then always find a space to disrespect black people. Put themselves in an ivory tower, a high horse. And granted, we got our challenges like every other group all around the world. It's called the human experience. Charleston White, I don't know why nobody ain't been put their hands, feet, and foot in his ass. Put hands and feet on him, foot to ass. Because he's so foul and disrespectful and say that he operate in the interests of black folks. But then look what he do to black people. He laughed at Black Death. He always say, well, Charleston White is a character. I work for the community. I get legislation passed. Nah, that's bullshit. And there's so many like him. It's unbelievable. Under the guise of intellectualism, under the guise of all kinds of bullshit. And I don't believe none of these people, sis. You know, us four have spent time together in each other's space, have done community work together, all four of us on this panel. I mean, it's easy to talk strong on the internet. That's easy. But what we always say, sis, the internet is the cowards' playground. This is where the cowards come. They can talk their shit. They can regurgitate their rhetoric. But where are they really? For the people that really need the help. Do they form a human shield around people who are being threatened? Nah, they don't do that. They don't put their life on the line. They just grab their phone, get on their laptop, plug in the mic, and pop shit. And I know Charleston White Day is coming because he always think our misfortune is funny. And I don't find it funny at all, you know. And Metcalf, I mean, he is who he is. They are who they are. I don't expect anything different from them folks. That's why I'm not afraid of them, sis. I went to school with them. I work with these people. Everybody be acting like they the boogeyman. Man, these people bleed like us. I've never been hit by a hard-hitting one. For them in school, for them at work, for them as police. I hear cowards all on the internet. I see them. And it just kills me because how you working in the interest of black people, but you won't stand in the face of danger? Get out of here. People always talking down about street people who come from the street. But the street people are the ones who are not afraid. These are the ones Dr. Francis Cress Wilson called on, Dr. Khalid. These are the ones they called on. They ain't tell the scholars come outside and read a book to nobody. They said, where the real ones at? Shout out to all those who really put in work and not sit on the internet and cry like a bundle of sticks, or what they call them, a British cigarette. And with that, I yield. Sister Marcia.
Shout out, brother Magnetic Peace Tyson. What's happening, brother? What's happening? That's our brother from another mother.
Don't get the show banned, brother Tad.
Oh, I'm not. That's why I'm being cautious about my words.
We gonna be cool. We gonna be cool.
I said a British cigarette. What do they call this? What do they call a cigarette in England?
A broken wrist.
Yeah, they call it a bundle of sticks, right? So most
a zest piece.
Yeah. They
but you know
so
what?
successfully clean.
You know, for some people who talk about, you know, that snippet of the video that they played in the courtroom, how come nobody ever asked them to play the full 11 minutes? Show the full 11 minutes so you can see what actually happened. But people don't want to know the truth. They want to run with narrative, whatever makes them feel good, you know, whatever makes you feel tough while you're behind a computer screen, you know. You're not that tough. Because in real life, you wouldn't say nothing to nobody. You know? True story. And Tad, the next time you run into the history hitman, you ask him. One of the candidates from the Freedom Party's girlfriend came into the office, a tether, mad disrespectful. Well, who you talking to? I got up out that chair, went towards, and the men in the office, they grabbed me back. They grabbed me, but the only one who said let her go was the history hitman. Let her go. You know, some people need to get their head bust. So I was like, you know what? We never got to say nothing. We can leave here together, go around the corner, and handle our business. Let's go around the corner. You got so much to say. Let's go around the corner. Leave your bag right here. Let's go around the corner real quick. I'm done with you in 10 minutes. Oh. You know, now you scared. What a tough talk at? What a tough talk. I'm not into having arguments. You know, having arguments raises my blood pressure. So I don't want to get into an argument. I want to knock your ass out and be done with it. But she didn't want to do that. So next time you see him, let him tell you that story. But you know, the reason why
I know the pedigree.
You know. So these people were crazy. So I said that in a live. I think it was yesterday afternoon. I was on a panel. Don't get tough on the internet. Don't get tough because you probably in your mother's house in a room that smelled like cat piss with dirty ass sheets for 60 days or more. So don't play with me. Don't play with me, cat piss.
Just look, and none of this was going on when we was moving from state to state. State to state.
Listen.
Every state, every hood.
This chick in Boston from getting her head busted.
Yeah.
I was about to knock her block off.
Yeah. So can't catch a case out here. We can't catch a case.
I was like, I don't want to go to jail in Boston. I was ready to take that off her shoulders.
Atlanta.
I wasn't arguing. I just posted up. Let her argue with Mello and the rest of them. Go ahead and argue. Because as soon as you're done, I'm going to knock you the fuck out. That's where I'm at with it. These people are crazy. And, you know, you got a lot of internet gangsters. Listen, you never had a fight in your life. I can tell because you're talking too much.
That part.
You're doing too much talking. You never had a real one in your life. You know? You never got sliced in your life. But I can show you better than I can tell you. You want that $150, I can get it to you. So, I don't play those type of games. I like to keep my blood pressure down. You know, my doctor said keep my blood pressure down. You know, Brooke be raising it as it is, 3 o'clock in the morning. But she be sending me stuff to get me riled up.
Shout out to Sister Brooke.
And my husband be like, turn that phone up and get back in this bed. But you know, it is. You ready, sis? Welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge, our very own Sister Brooke. What's happening?
Speaking of the queen.
Hello. Hi, Sister Marcia. Hello, Brother Black. Hello, OG Tad. What's up, my big sis Keish? Yes, I'm sorry I be up late. You know what I'm saying? When I see it, I just got to send it because if I don't send it, then I'm going to forget. So, yes, I do be riling her up in the middle of the night. I'm sorry. I be up and it be riling me up. So I'll be like, you see this bullshit. Yeah. I just real quick, I wanted to say something about the whole Charleston White situation. And I'm going to do my best because Keisha and Tad know, and President Devine know I've said some things behind the scenes. Right? And I'm gonna try to alter my speech a little bit, right? Because we in front of company. But I just question what type of person takes advice from Charleston White.
Right.
And then I wonder, what is your goal Because if your goal is our goal, because our goal is to get him out of jail at this point, right?
Right.
Do we have the same goal as the parents? You know, Trayvon Martin's mother holds a political office now.
Right, Sabrina. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, they try to do the same thing with Sean Bell's fiance.
I'm not shocked.
I was there in City Hall when they did. I think Ray Ray was there too. Shout out to Ray Ray.
I'm not shocked by that. You know, they're doing an event. I believe I think it's this weekend with Tamika Mallory.
Oh Lord.
Shout out to Melrose Radio. He posted about it. And
is my song gonna be there too?
You know, frickin' frack. So, or maybe he busy doing work for Mondami because you know they got official positions in this administration. And I believe it was Tamir Rice's mom. And I believe it was another child's mom that have come out and talked about how Tamika Mallory did not help them and what she actually did, which was pretty much nothing. So I like I said, I'm at there's the post. I'm at a point now where I had to take a step back because what more can we do?
Right.
If the family wants help from a Charleston White and a Tamika Mallory.
That part.
And it saddens me to say that because the thought of this child spending 35 years in jail absolutely breaks my heart. And it makes me want to go hard to find out how I can get him out, what we could do, who can we write to, who can we, what. But if the parents what can we do? What can we do? And so at this point, you know, President Devine said, I think it was last week, that they on the clock. And they was on the clock last week, and now it's becoming obvious that our goal of getting him out may not be the same goal for the parents. Yeah, and I'll leave it at that because I don't want to say some of the things that I've said behind the scenes. I'm trying to really alter my speech, but
I like to see what these folks are going to do because you know, one, I don't know the family dynamic. Two, a lot of people are afraid, and this is just my opinion based on what I see visually. Papa looking soft. Three, you got a lot of people who come in for their own, you know, reasons why they come in. You know, like the person you mentioned, I wouldn't do anything with her, you know, or the group that she comes from.
Him. Right, her or him.
I just wouldn't, you know, but that's just me. Brother Devine, you ready? Let me get my brother, the U.S. Freedmen Project president, up on the Brooklyn Bridge. What's happening?
What's good? What's good? We thought alike today. I see. I was like, hold on, I gotta get that Juneteenth background. It's the Juneteenth show.
Yes, indeed.
What's going on, Bridge? What's going on tonight?
My favorite Nick fan ever.
Good evening, Sister Marcia, Brother Black, Sister Brooke, OG Tad, and Sister Keish. Yo, Tad, on another note, I ain't trying to, do the shameless plug, but I'm ready. I know we talked about getting on the program. You talked about getting me an analysis. So I'm ready. My foot is good. It's time to get going.
All right. No doubt.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Even with that, I know what he's talking about. But when he had mentioned it, that ain't my forte. Let me get your Tad number. let me slide you over there. That ain't my forte.
Yes.
You see what else? Immediately. I didn't give him no advice or nothing. This the guy that can help you. I can't. Yes. So that's why, like Brooke said last week, if you don't know, it's okay to say, I don't know. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Tad went to the event in Atlanta. I wait for him to tell me what he learned. I wasn't there.
And that's just funny because that's why I love to do stuff with my sister Keisha. Like, I tell people, like even when they ask me to come meet with Dr. Arikana, they's like, yeah, we want you to speak. I was like, nah, I got somebody better. It's like, better than you. So y'all gonna love her. Y'all gonna love her. Cause see, it's for us, for me and my sister Keisha, it's not ego driven. I can forego the spotlight to make sure that it's done properly. You know what I'm saying? We want efficacy. We don't want a grandstand, because I'm the one. I'll pass that mic. I'll pass the baton. That's why I'm appreciative of you, Brother Divine and Sister Brooke. The new generation. Y'all not that far behind us. Ain't nothing wrong with pivoting and passing the baton, but everybody wants to be the one. They so ego driven and self-centered, and they don't work with people. It's all about them. And I'm always cautious about people with no team. People who got to be in the spotlight. I'm cautious. Like, hold up. You trying to tell me you doing all this by yourself? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Dr. Ifatunde. He's the principal. He's the
construction worker.
He's the construction worker. He's the crossing guard. He's the lunch lady. For the school.
He's the counselor for the moms.
Yeah, the counselor for the moms, the surrogate dad. Like, where's your team at?
Check this out. When he came to Alton's funeral, Ray in the chat, he'll tell you he ain't even looking our direction.
And he had to sit at our table. What? And he had to sit, me, Sister Keisha, Brother Mike, Dr. Ifat, and who else? It was just us four. No,
and
Charles Barron there. Yeah, I'm about to say it. And Charles Barron. We were all at the same
Shook ones.
Yeah.
Shook ones.
That was our table. Yeah.
We ain't about to say a word.
I'm in Brooklyn. I always feel I got a home court advantage because any hood you go in, I'm good there. I always know the everyday people, so to speak. If you want to say the hood, the gangsters. I know the everyday people. The people who ain't beholden to these so-called rules that us quote-unquote conscious people abide by. No, brother, you can't do. My people don't know who's who and what's what. All they know is you got a problem with Tad, I'm on it. And they let people know. I forgot one of my brothers, he told Jeannie, I don't know none of that conscious stuff. I'm only here for my brother right here. Jeannie said, I like this dude. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we got real heavyweight and soldiers. I hear people talk about race soldiers. We got people who don't care about these folks. And that's what you got to understand. But some of these people sit in the ivory tower and they're out of touch with the real people, the people that they say they Sister Keisha could still walk through Fort Greene without a problem any time of night. I walk through Bed-Stuy, any corner, any block, any project, any time of day or night with no problem. A lot of these people can't do that. They'll stick out like a sore thumb. But you can't teach the people if you can't reach the people. This internet thing got a lot of people twisted. Like, look, y'all two were there when we pulled up on Utica. When folks tried to have that anti-FBA thing, what we did, we pulled up. Like, nah, we up in there. And we pulled up and did what we did. There ain't no cowardice about us. We ain't take it to the internet and just cry about it. Nah, we pulled up. Say what y'all got to say while we here. We here front and center. What? You know what I'm saying? A lot of these people are not about that action. And it just kills me because it's easy to talk about the problems, but what's the solution? As I stated earlier, Sister Brooke, you have a solution. You always have a call to action. Send them emails. I hear people constantly, they have no call to action whatsoever. It's just bitch and moan, cry and complain. And
or it's antiquated.
Yeah, or it's antiquated. And we tired of it. So sure enough, as we want to get our little brother out of jail, I was somebody that been there. A lot of these people can't deal with that. They can't deal with the hardships that everyday Black people go through. And that's the reality. But for those of us who really got to live this Black life off of the internet, it's real out here. And some of us ain't afraid of who's supposed to be the supposed oppositions, whether it's police or the boss on the job or the regular old Urugu walking down the block. Everybody ain't cowardice like so many of these people. You know, so I say that because I appreciate y'all, man, beyond words, because I live a Black life. And sure enough, as we see that we have challenges and obstacles, we got to band together and stop trying to be like Charleston White and the peoples of that ilk, the Dr. Umars, the sucker polites. How long are we going to get duped by this false leadership / popularity contest? As opposed to the people who really on the ground doing the work, really ready to put hands, feet on people. Because Dr. Frances Cress Welsing gave the solution. She said it's going to take strong male masculine muscle to stop this. Not this intellectualism everybody like to play with, cowards. But I'm off my soapbox. I'm just happy y'all could join us tonight. Welcome to the Brooklyn Bridge.
We appreciate you too, Brother Tad. For real, for real. You know, like I said, I know when to fall back. I know when to fall back. I don't want no crazy people in my circle. We good. As long as you leave me alone, I'm going to leave you alone. But you get in my way, or you get in the way of my progress of our lineage, then I'm going to come for you heavy. It's going to be
I'm laughing because I've seen you do it too many times.
When we was on YouTube, I'm like,
Sister Keisha be going on. Get away from me with this foolishness. See, this is the shit I'm talking about.
Yo, we was on YouTube. Homeboy ain't even know Devon was peeping. Everything he was saying is going to tell us everything he said.
Yeah.
We sitting there. I was sick as a dog that day too. Actually, a week after I was hospitalized. But anyway.
Right.
I went up in there. The whole panel was against us. The whole goddamn backyard space that they had us in was against us. And after I said what I said, that's what I said. I said what I said. Now what's up? Now what's gonna be here? Dude try to get a little tough? Listen. You know my cousins and my nephews live down the block? My nephews don't play these kind of games. Are you crazy? You won't make it off the street, homie. You nuts? Listen. So anyway, enough of that. You know, to keep them, you know, hold on, Black. When I'm in these spaces with Brooke and Brother Divine, because in my opinion, just my opinion, they're well versed in what they need to do.
Yes.
That's my opinion. My job is to let the other people know in the room, you know me and I know you, don't fuck around. That's it. And keep Brooke out of jail. That's it. You know, and I said it on the record. You know, all of these organizations are compromised. I said it because I wanted it on the public record. They all compromise. Come see me if you think I'm lying. If I'm lying, courts is open all day long. Sue me. Come on, so we can get some discovery over here. Come on. Bring your ass. I don't play with that dude, Hawk Newsome. I don't play with him either. You know, I know how you came on the scene, partner. You know, you can be boisterous as you want to. Boisterous, whatever you want to be. I'm not going to get in no man's face, and I'm not going to argue with you. But I don't rock with you because I know how you came in this thing. I know the dude you came in with, so I don't rock with you. You know, people like to talk that talk, but they ain't doing nothing. He's an attorney. How many laws you getting changed, partner? How
And
many?
you don't never see him in no courtroom, never in no suit. He's always outside just yelling. You a whole lawyer. Why you don't be helping people in the courtroom with people? If you really care, you a whole lawyer. Like when you told me that, I was shocked. You not no activist, you a lawyer. Why you not doing anything that have anything to do with what you were trained, what you went to school for mad years to do? Yo.
That's why I told you. A lot of people ain't worth their salt. So, let's get through this real quick. Oh, Brother Black, you had something to say. Sorry.
Now, you good, Sister Keisha. What I want to tell, before we go into the next segment, what I want to tell Black people out there who may have a little money, stop moving to these all-white enclaves. Go somewhere, even if it's mixed, where it's like a nice amount of people, so that, because we know how these Caucasians do, they either going to outnumber you, they strapped, or they drunk and they just, going off drunk energy and wanting to mess with us and stuff like that. Had that been in the place where there were more of us there, I don't think those things would have happened, because of the possibility of a riot happening or something like that. So that's just a little word to the wise for the people out there. And I'm done.
So I wanted to thank you for that, Brother Black. And Brother Magnetic Peace Tyson, he put in the chat, no justice, no peace. You know where that phrase come from? I'm going to let Brother Tyson put that in the chat, where that phrase come from. People saying it all over the place. The immigrants are saying it. White women are saying it. Everybody's saying it, but nobody know where the hell it came from. I'm going to let Peace put that in the chat for you. Okay? But you're using it. Anyway. Give me a second here. This is a book that I would encourage all Black people to have in their household. That's just my opinion. In case you have to be in a courtroom someday, you may not be an attorney, but you could be your own second chair. Okay? Because you got to check what those lawyers and attorneys are telling you. All right? This is a book, Race, Law, and American Society, 1607 to present, by Gloria J. Brown Marshall. She is a professor at John Jay College here in New York. You can look her up on YouTube. Last week, I mentioned this case, Batson v. Kentucky, because of the jury selection. So in this book, she compiles cases that are relevant so that you can see how the local courts and the Supreme Courts argued back and forth on these cases. What was kicked back to lower courts, and how some of these practices are still being used today, which is why I say, these courts are infested with racism, and she lays it out here perfectly. So in Batson v. Kentucky, decided in 1985, the court was once again faced with the exclusion of Blacks from a criminal jury. Blacks have struggled to secure their rightful place on American juries for nearly a century. In Batson, the trial court of Jefferson County, Kentucky, allowed the prosecutor to strike all Blacks from the jury. James Kirkland Batson, a Black man, was charged with second-degree burglary and receipt of stolen goods. The defense counsel, representing Batson, and the prosecutor were allowed to strike potential jurors for cause if they demonstrated bias. However, counsel were provided with mechanisms referred to as preemptory strikes, which allow the attorney in the case to strike a potential juror without cause. The prosecutor in Batson used his preemptory challenges to strike all 4 Black persons, which resulted in a jury composed of only white persons. Isn't that what happened in Carmelo Anthony's case? Defense counsel moved to discharge the jury, partly on the ground that the prosecutor's actions violated Batson's right to equal protection of laws under the 14th Amendment. The trial court judge denied the motion. The judge observed that the parties were entitled to their preemptory challenges to strike anybody they wanted to. Batson was tried and convicted on both counts. He appealed. The Kentucky appellate courts, relying on Swain v. Alabama, affirmed the trial court. Batson had not provided any evidence of purposeful discrimination. Finally, the U.S. Supreme Court overruled Swain v. Alabama. And this case is also in this book, and you can read it. It's also about excluding Black folks in juries. The court held that equal protection clause forbids a prosecutor from using preemptorily challenge to reject potential jurors solely on the account of their race or the assumption that Black jurors Black jurors as a group would be unable to consider the prosecution's case as a Black defendant impartially. The same thing happened in Carmelo Anthony's case. Remember, they said they excluded those Black women because they were educators. I believe that was the reason. And they didn't think that they would be impartial in that case. The court also stated that a criminal defendant did not have to prove repeated instances of discriminatory conduct. Moreover, once the defendant made a prima facie showing, the burden shifted to the prosecution to present a neutral explanation for striking that juror. The court reaffirmed the principles of Strouder v. West Virginia. Despite the ruling in Batson, Blacks continue to wrestle with racial discrimination in jury selection. And so even as Black people show up for jury duty to get on to some of these cases, you can still be excluded based on the thought process of the prosecutor or the defense attorney. And so you have to ask yourself, are we protected under the 14th Amendment? And if so, why does this continue to happen? Right? Here's a case. Black witnesses. Now, this relates to Judge Roger Taney's dictum in the Dred Scott case, where he said that no Negroes have any rights that a white man is bound to respect. Go back to this case. Alabama again. As with the case of Celia, Blacks were precluded from the witness box during slavery, as well as after slavery was abolished. Whites considered themselves beyond the judgment of Blacks or any other race of people. Thus, the testimony of a Black, Asian, or Native American witness could not convict or bind a white party in a legal matter. In Blackout v. United States, the U.S. Supreme Court affirmed this position. The court acknowledged that the crimes in Blackout v. United States were atrocious. On the evening of August 29, 1868, two white males, Blackout and Kennard, set out to murder Black people. These murders were committed in response to the passage of the 14th Amendment on July 20th, 1868. Now, when we say Black people died for this 14th Amendment, we did. We did. Not no immigrant. We did. And here's the case. Blackout and Kennard arrived at the cabin of Jack Foster, a Black man, and his family. They then took an axe and brutally murdered Foster and his wife, Sally Foster, their 17-year-old son, Richard Foster, and Sally Foster's 19-year-old blind mother, Lucy Armstrong. Lucy Armstrong was wounded in the head, which was cut open. Jack Foster and Sally, his wife, were cut in several places, almost to pieces. Richard Foster died 2 days after the attack. While he lay dying, Foster gave a dying declaration accusing Blackout and Kennard of the crimes. Two young girls, one aged 10 years and the other 13, escaped. Laura Foster was a witness. The state of Kentucky did not allow Blacks to testify against whites. The Kentucky law stated that a slave Negro, or Indian shall be a competent witness in the case of the Commonwealth for or against a slave, Negro, or Indian, or in a civil case to which only Negroes or Indians are parties, but in no other case. So they can testify against each other, but not against a white person, in particular white men. The Kentucky statute forbade the testimony of colored persons either for or against a white person in any civil or criminal cause to which he may be a party. Blackout and Kennard were indicted in Kentucky for the murder of Lucy Armstrong. The case was removed from state court to federal court under the authority of the Civil Rights Act. This is the Civil Rights Act of 1860s, okay? Not the 1960s, just to be clear. They appealed, arguing that the Civil Rights Act did not apply and that evidence provided by Lucy Foster was inadmissible under the Kentucky statute. The court found that the federal government did not have the jurisdiction to remove the case back to the courts of Kentucky. Under the Civil Rights Act, the United States had exclusive control of certain race cases. Specifically, the act is triggered by crimes and offenses committed against the provisions of the act and the causes, civil and criminal, affecting persons who are denied or cannot enforce in the courts or judicial tribunals of the state or locality, where they may be any rights secured to them by the first section of the act. The act then provides for the removal of the federal courts of any suit or prosecution, criminal or civil, which had been or might hereafter be commenced against any such person for any cause whatsoever. Now, let's go back to Carmelo Anthony, if we will. Here you have a boy who gets into a fight with two other boys, at least. But we know from the 11-minute long video, there were more than two boys. According to this law, Anthony did not have a right to defend himself. So in white folks' mind, this is still good law. And that's why I say, if you don't know that these courts are infested with racism, they will continue to use these provisions against you. It was the responsibility of his defense team to bring light to this and say, hold on here. The U.S. Supreme Court recognizes all of these federal protections. However, the court narrowly interrupted the statute's language affecting persons. Now, who are the affecting persons? Right? There is a provision in criminal and civil law, but for, meaning but for the actions of the Metcalf brothers, the result would not have been the stabbing. But for their actions, that would not have happened. And if I was a defense attorney, I would say, hold on here. Hold on. But I ain't an attorney. I can't do it. But I can represent myself in a court of law. And if you got an attorney, you better learn how to sit second chair. You better know what the hell they talking about and what they should be doing. In doing so, the court reasoned that the Civil Rights Act was applicable only to parties because they were directly affected by a crime. Witnesses were not covered within the affected person's provision. Thus, Laura and Richard Foster, as witnesses, were not affected persons within the meaning of the statute. Without an affected person involved in the case, the Civil Rights Statute was not applicable. Since the court determined that the Kentucky law did not violate the Civil Rights Act, the case had to be moved back to the Kentucky court for trial. However, under Kentucky law, Laura Foster could not testify against Blackout and Kennard. The court decided the deceased victim, Lucy Armstrong, was not an affected person. How sick is that? In fact, the court stated, in no sense can she be said to be affected by the cause. Manifestly, the act refers to persons in existence. She was the victim of a frightful outrage, which gave rise, to the cause, but she is beyond being affected by the cause herself. What kind of BS is that? Therefore, Laura Foster, the only living witness to the murder of her family, was precluded by state law, from testifying because she was Black. Richard Foster's dying declaration was inadmissible evidence under the same law because he was Black. Essentially, the Supreme Court undermined the Civil Rights Act and supported a state's ability to preclude witness testimony based on race. Blackout and Kennard murdered 4 persons in cold blood and were never punished for the crime. For nearly a century following the Blackout case, Blacks remained unable to testify against whites in state courts across the South. By the end of the 20th century, Blacks gained access to the witness stand. However, discriminatory treatment by judges, prosecutors, and court personnel became an obstacle in justice. In Hamilton v. Alabama, 1963, the Supreme Court was faced with another relic of slavery. Relic meaning a badge of slavery. Mary Hamilton, the civil rights organizer, was before the Alabama court on criminal charges and took to the stand to testify in her own defense. In addressing her, the prosecutor referred to her as Mary, her first name. The cross-examination was as follows. What is your name, please? Miss Mary Hamilton. Mary, I believe you were arrested. Who were you arrested by? My name is Miss Hamilton. Please address me correctly. Who were you arrested by, Mary? I will not answer. The witness's name is Mrs. Hamilton. Your question, until I am addressed correctly. The court, answer the question. I will not answer them unless I am addressed directly. You are in contempt of court. Your Honor, Your Honor. You are in contempt of court. You are sentenced to 5 days in jail and a $50 fine. Mary Hamilton found in contempt, fined in jail. The trial court applied a state law that allowed a finding of contempt if a witness diminished or disrespected judicial tribunal. Now, just because she wanted to be addressed correctly, you see the hell we had to go through? And none of you goddamn immigrants had to deal with that. But you want to get benefit of the 14th Amendment. You out your goddamn mind. Hamilton filed a writ of habeas corpus to gain her freedom. The Alabama Supreme Court denied her appeal and ignored the attorney's disrespect in calling Hamilton only by her first name. She appealed the U.S. Supreme Court, reversed her conviction for contempt. The court referred to this disrespect as a relic of slavery, badge of slavery. During slavery and segregation, whites refused to refer to blacks by their full names or acknowledge their professional titles. Only white witnesses were given the dignity of being called by their first and last names. Okay? All right? Now, going to the panel. Y'all tell me what you think. What did you see in these cases that took place in Carmelo Anthony's case that also took place in the Ricky Child case while his ass got off? All of them got privileges. But before I go to the panel, I want to show y'all this real quick, and then I'm going to go straight to y'all because I want y'all opinion on this, but I want you to see something here. Hold on. Give me a second here. 1 second, family. Let's go. All right. All right. The very first Civil Rights Act passed in the U.S. was the Civil Rights Act of 1866. This is right after emancipation, right after the Civil War, or towards the end of the Civil War, I should say. Passed by Congress over the veto of President Andrew Johnson, the Democrat. But what also took place during this time? What also took place during that time? The infamous Dred Scott Supreme Court case of 1857 was overturned by the ratification of the 13th Amendment in 1865, which abolished slavery, and the 14th Amendment in 1868. Them white folks was pissed. And that's why Judge Roger Taney wrote that dictum, that no Negro has any rights that a white man is bound to respect, and they still live by that dictum to this very day. I'll land. I'll go to the panel.
Real quick, I just want to say one thing. I believe as a result of us being still 3/5 of man in the Constitution is the way the justification for that can exist. And I yield.
Not so. Not so. Not so. And I'm glad you brought that point up. And I'll show you a video after the panel gives their information, or their spill, if you will, on this. Let's go to Brother Devon first, if he wants.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up, and you're going to address that, because that was the first thing I was going to talk about, that misconception about the 3/5 compromise. So I'm glad you're going to handle that. I'll leave that alone. What I do want to point out, though, is to what you just said, because this is, I think we kind of talked about this on another, when it was around the Birthright Citizen show. And I need the family and also the naysayers, the tethers, and the white supremacists to understand. In that Dred Scott decision, it did not say that foundational Black Americans don't have any rights, which is the narrative that they love to parrot and talk about to take away our agency and our claim to this country, which is what they use as the justification for saying we shouldn't be calling ourselves foundational Black Americans, just displaced Africans or African Americans or whatever other notion or name or term they want us to use. But it's important to understand that he was saying, yes, y'all have rights, but white supremacists are not going to recognize those rights. And so those next amendments that you just talked about did not give us rights or give us citizenship as that kind of narrative. What it did was it codified those rights and that citizenship. So whether a white person respected it or not, it was so. And it didn't matter what any individual white supremacist felt like honoring. So I wanted to put that out there. The next thing I want to talk about before I move on is just that you know, because it was something that grew up in my home, and I thought about it when I looked at that case, and as you was reading it, a foundational Black American proverb that my mother taught us was, "It's not what they call you, is what you answer to." And so for that sister to be standing on business to say, nah, if you're not going to address me correctly, I don't know who you think you talking to, but it clearly ain't me, because that ain't what I'm answering to. And so when we look around at all these other keyboard warriors and individuals that have advice for the greatest justice warriors the world has ever known, that sister didn't let the fight end there. She took that appeal to the Supreme Court, and it was overturned. And you got individuals that not only wouldn't have took the fight that far, they would have answered to whatever the judge or prosecutor was calling them. And then you got the nerve to try to give us advice? Tether, please. And so this is just this history, and I land on this because, again, this is one of the nuanced facts that we need to acknowledge as we move forward through this renaissance. This country and this system is not built on anti-Blackness or anti-melanatedness. It is what I call anti-freedmen. It is the badges and incidents of slavery that were never corrected and rectified. That is what our justice claim is built on. That's what our reparations claim is built on. And that is what has given us as a lineage and as a people that culture of resistance, because they are resisting correcting those things, and us standing on business that no, we're not going to stop until those badges and incidents are corrected. And this is why, and I know I was going to land it, but let me just say this last thing is that's the reason why the future of our political reality, and why Brother Tad and Sister Keisha always talks about that antiquated ideology, is because the only way to address that is through lineage-based legislation, because it only happened to one lineage. It only happened to one people group. As Sister Keisha kept saying, y'all didn't have to go through that, largely because y'all wasn't even here. And so it's not about racial justice. It's about correcting the badges and incidents of slavery for those of us who had ancestors that was formerly enslaved and emancipated, because that was the motivation on why those white folks wouldn't call her by what she demanded to be called. Not because she was heavily melanated or because she was quote unquote black. It's because if you ever watched that movie, The Heat of the Night, where Sidney Poitier slapped the shit out that white supremacist, and he cried, not because he was sad, but because he said, I remember a day where I could have had you strung up for that. And especially in those times, they were not too far removed from that time. And so they're sitting in that courtroom like, how dare you demand me to address you as Mrs. Hamilton when you didn't even have a name at one time. And so that's the fight that we have that nobody else does. And like I said, we'll be damned if we're going to allow any outside group, regardless of hue, call us what they want to call us. Because it ain't what you call us, is what we answer to. And we answering to Foundation Black American. You could book that.
I'm glad Brother Divine went there and talked about Sidney Poitier smacking up the dude. You know, and it made me think about Frederick Douglass and his narratives, and when he talked about Mr. Covey, you know, the quote unquote overseer that was known for breaking Negroes. And he tried to break Frederick Douglass, and Frederick Douglass put the beats on him. And Frederick Douglass swore that was the end of his life. He said, yo, I'll kick this ass. I know he gonna have me killed. But the fragile ego of them folks, Mr. Covey dared not tell another white person that he couldn't break this Negro. So that's what spared Frederick Douglass' life. Because Mr. Covey's ego was too fragile for him to even admit that a nigga kicked his ass. So he kept it quiet. And that's why Frederick Douglass didn't die or get deleted. And I say all that to say, because again, they are not the boogeyman. Our sister Mary Hamilton was not afraid of them on their battlefield, where they got home court advantage. When you in court, that's a battlefield right there. And I got a little bit of extensive experience in that space. For someone who's been charged with a multitude of acts, no convictions. I am not an ex-convict. I am not an ex-felon. Only been convicted as a youthful offender. Of course, for aggression against the boogeyman. You know, we know who the boogeyman is, the big bad pink man that everybody's scared of. It's my only conviction as a youthful offender. I say all that because you have to be your own advocate in every battle. Now, what happened with our young brother Carmelo Anthony? These people, I don't think they vetted that lawyer. Because from my understanding, a lot of things he should have objected to, he didn't. Now, when I stood in that court, I objected to everything. Me and my lawyer, I still got the notes. Me and my lawyer was writing notes back and forth. I'm arguing with him. Object to that. Object to that. Why? Because I'm a dumb Negro. I ain't supposed to know the law. But one thing I tell people, if you out in the street, don't play a game if you don't know the rules. And I ain't talking about just the rules of the street, the rules of the court as well. See, unfortunately, nobody instructed Carmelo Anthony to spend time in the law library. You know what I'm saying? While you in there, take advantage of that law library. My uncle told me that. And I read laws. I read case studies, and I read case laws. Because, see, when they indict you, they give you a list of the charges. And what you do is called shepherdize. You take those charges, you go down to the law library, and you look up those charges and how cases were won and cases were lost. And you develop your argument around those charges. And you present it to your lawyer, pretty much what a paralegal does. But see, if you're going to be lazy in your own life, these things will happen to you. But again, I don't knock our folks for not knowing, because if you don't have this experience, or people who had these experiences, you won't know how to operate in the courtroom. See, Sister Keisha was lucky to study under the tutelage of attorney at War Automatics. You know, peace be upon them. I was fortunate enough to have a predicate felon uncle who told me how the game go. You know, and I tell people, it's a constant battle, but you are in charge of your life. Stop letting other people dictate to you how you should move. You better be invested in your life so you could do what's in your best interest. Some people may think they have your best interest at heart because they love you, but only you know your life best. You know your fears, you know your aspirations, and you got to be proactive in your life, because these people will dupe you. That's their job. That is their job, to dupe you. They are the opposition. Their job is to make sure you don't succeed in life as a collective group and as an individual. But you have to think for yourself and work for the group. You are an individual. Don't be swayed by other people's decision. Well, you know, 35 years ain't that bad. It could be the chair. Nah, you got to get proactive in your life. And that's something I watch a lot of people do. They sit and wait for instructions of other people, false leaders and things like that. I watch people, I've been a part of this movement for decades, and I watch people not move until Dr. Such and Such tell them to move. And sometimes it ain't in your best interest. And if anybody walk away, anything I say, man, be proactive in your own life, man. Be the main character in your story. Stop letting other people write your script, because this is how we lose collectively. Because as Mary Hamilton did, she pushed back. She fought back. We have to call upon those spirits. I am not a victim to none of this shit. People gonna try it and I'm gonna push back. That's what a fight is. You're only a victim when you give up. And I've seen a lot of people get defeated. They talk a good one. They talk that strong shit, but they cowards. A lot of people are cowards, intellectual cowards. People with, I got 5 degrees. I got 6 degrees. You still a sucker. You'll let somebody grab your woman's butt and handle your kids any kind of way. I respect the brother who ran over those quote-unquote race soldiers when they deleted his son. And remember, when they walked him through the court, what was that, last year? He walked through with his head held high with all them soldiers in a line, looking like they wanted to do him something terrible. And he's like, yeah, that's right. That's the spirit we need to call on. Not dudes hiding behind keyboards and making stupid ass T-shirts, talking about watermelon felon. Where's the real warriors? Where's the Nat Turners everybody keep talking about? Where's that spirit of Frederick Douglass that he knew a certain death to fight Mr. Covey, but he did it anyway? I'm just tired of suckers and cowards, man. Thank you. Rodney Hinton Jr., thank you. I'm from a place where you don't let nobody handle you any kind of way. Black, white, purple, or green. You don't let nobody handle you any kind of way. And if you got to go in them courts, man, gear up. Learn the rules. Because in there, they speak a totally different language. It's called legalese, but a lot of it is Latin. And you got to know what them words mean. You got to know what a habeas corpus and a fortiori and a modus operandi. You got to learn what these words mean. It's a particular way you argue. It ain't like a sports argument. You crazy, LeBron is better than Jordan. No, it's a certain way you got to present your argument. It's a science to this. It's more than rhetoric. And I realize a lot of people got a lot of rhetoric. They ain't about that action because they ain't been in no action. They ain't had a life on the line. They ain't have race soldiers try to delete them or rough them up, or they ain't have to stand in front of those people with the gavel in them robes. They ain't have to go through none of that because they've been safe the whole time in a ivory tower, talking like they super black. And as Sister Keisha said, we sat at tables with so many of these people. When you look at a lot of these people's eyes, you see the softness in them. See, what they do is try to rally the troops and hide amongst the crowd. Come on, black people, come on, come on. All right, we boycotting Target, right? Until what? We blacking out the Asians until what? What's the call out? Like, what are we really doing? And it's a general question. It's also a rhetorical one because I know what I'm doing. But as a collective, what's the end goal? Because I thought we was boycotting Gucci before. You know what I'm saying? The shit we be doing, and we not yo. Shout out to the sisters though, who's doing the nail techs, because I see they killing it. The sisters are killing it now. The sisters are running up and finding they getting proactive, finding black nail techs, going to create that shift. And this is what it's about, man. That's right, sweet butters. It's all about the FBA reset. Don't just keep our dollars away from them. Let's redirect our dollars back to the community. That's something Dr. King said.
That's the goal.
He said when he fought, he said when he fought for desegregation, it wasn't for the black dollars to lead the community. But that's what happened. But they don't show you that, Dr. King. They just keep giving you the I have a dream, Dr. King. They don't show you the Dr. King that said he going to Washington and he won his check. Because once he started talking about that money, once he started talking about redirecting our dollars, that's when he became the problem. You know, but this thing is so multi-layered, and I just want each individual to really decide, what do you want your life to look like? We join organizations, we join groups and causes, but what's the end goal? Because a lot of times I ask people, well, what does freedom look like to you? And you get a bunch of different answers, and some people haven't even thought about it. They've been rabble-rousing so long, they don't even know what they're fighting for no more. But you have to make a clear, definite goal for you and your family, your legacy. What do you represent? What are you in this for? Because anytime I join an organization, I join with an intent and an end goal. I don't plan to be a part of something for the rest of my life. I plan on being a part of it until we get the goal achieved, and then we move on to the next challenge that we have to resolve. And that's it. Not just being a rabble-rouser, popping shit just because. And with that, I'm off my soapbox. Sister Brooke.
Man, OG said that was y'all. I mean, y'all was. Let me start with this. Keisha, you mentioned it last week. I had to go get that. I was like, I need that in the library. Got it on Amazon, used. Good price. I can't remember how much it was, but they have it. I'm telling you guys, go on Amazon, look at that used book section. A lot of libraries is getting rid of their books. A lot of these books have the library stuff on it. Anyway, I have so much notes because y'all touch on so much stuff, right? I want to start with this. I want y'all to pay attention to the 3 classifications of people that they said could not testify. Okay, they never said immigrant. Okay, they said slave, Negro, Indian. We keep telling y'all that is what makes a foundational black, nor did they say African. We keep telling y'all that the foundational Black American are an amalgamation of these 3 people groups: the slave, or the enslaved, the Negro, which was you black, you here, but you free, and the Indian. I just want to make that clear. So when people He said he just got it for $11.89. See, I told you get them used books, y'all. Anyway, so when you not humpbacks, not midgets, not whales, in the great words of Dr. Claude Anderson, not the disabled, not the gay, not the newly here, immigrants of all colors, hues, religious backgrounds, whatever. None of y'all was included on that. Not women. So get off our backs. I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of the nonsense. Then the duty to retreat. Brother Tag talked about it. We never believed in the duty of retreat. Now, it might have been times that we were forced into it, but we never believed in the duty of retreat. Hence, Frederick Douglass. Hence, why, especially after emancipation, there were so many lynchings, because we did not retreat. And when you don't retreat, usually what ended up happening, especially in those days, the next thing that happens was a lynching. So we retreat means to what? Flee, leave, put on your flip-flops and go somewhere else. We don't retreat. So they could put it in law, then it had to change it out the law. We're not doing that. All of the immigrants that come here, that's what you did. You retreated from your homeland. So as people sit there and tell us what laws, what we weren't a whole person. Were you a whole person in your country and you still retreated? So not only did President Divine and Sister Keisha point out that not only we were a whole person, but whether that was in the law or not, we got the laws changed so that it would be codified into law. That is what President Divine said, that it would be into law, that we would have a legal leg to stand on as we didn't retreat. Then I want to remind you guys, they're doing this when they refuse to call Miss Mary by her full name, which I forgot. Was the last name? Was it Hamilton?
Hamilton, yes.
Miss Mary Hamilton, Mrs. Hamilton. They refuse to call her Mrs. Hamilton or her full name. Ain't that what they doing to us right now? Isn't that what these skin folk, who I keep saying ain't our goddamn kinfolk, isn't that what they doing to us right now? They are refusing. Didn't I say that at one of the hearings? Call us by our name.
Facts.
I then went on to say the fact that you won't is giving white Cassius Clay Muhammad Ali energy. And for those who didn't understand what I meant when I said that, because I know I be talking fast because I only got 3 minutes, I meant when Muhammad Ali changed his name to Muhammad Ali, the white press refused to call him by what he wanted to be called. They kept disrespecting him and calling him Cassius Clay. And now we have Black immigrants or Afro immigrants running around in our politics refusing to call us by our names. Calling us African American when we keep telling you that that's disrespectful. We don't like it. We don't want to be called that. Calling us, Africans, lost Africans, generic Africans. We keep telling you that's not our name. Call us by our name. We are some call us by our name type of people. Like President Divine said, it's not what you call us, it's what name we answer to, and we not answering to the bullshit y'all calling us. And I also wanted to point this out because I hear a lot of this argument when we're online. Well, the white folks aren't going to, we don't give two rats' asses what white folks think. We never have, and we never will. They could call us whatever that, they've been calling us all kinds of names since the beginning of time. And we force them to not call us certain things or to be punished by society. That's why they're mad now, because they want to be able to just call us nigger whenever they feel like it, and they can't without repercussions, consequences, and repercussions. They want to be able to call us whatever. So, as President Devon talked about, you can answer buck dive, buck dance, shuck and jive to whatever name they call you. We're not going to let the white people call us any freaking thing, and we damn for goddamn sure ain't going to let you call us whatever the fuck you want. You will be forced. Either you get down or you lay down. You will be forced to call us by our name. Just as Mrs. Mary Hamilton went all the way to the goddamn Supreme Court and forced them white folks to call her by her name. Austin Metcalf's dad, when he was sitting there slipping up, he almost slipped up and called Charleston White the N-word. Y'all heard that?
Yeah.
He was like that black guy.
I don't think it was a slip up.
But he caught himself. He caught himself.
No, he didn't catch him. He didn't catch himself.
He realized
he meant to do that to make it
his
go
dog
viral.
Whistle. Yeah, his dog whistle.
So anyway, it has been said that he is of Irish background. So that bitch ass wasn't even here. He's an Ellis Island immigrant. But you see how they wish they were? He don't know, not near. His family wasn't here for any of these laws, because by the time his people got here, we was already codified into law. But they wish, just like that Asian man who set that cross on fire in Chicago and then sat there and talked about he didn't know what a burning cross meant and it wasn't no hate crime. You people, you think we're as dumb as the people in your homeland. And we not. That's your ass. You think we as dumb And for all of y'all Afro immigrants, you're getting your wake-up calls. Because you see how that man went down there on J Street and went in the Bon, was it Bon Choi, Bon Chow, Bon whatever?
Bon Chon.
Bon Chon, whatever. And he went in there, ordered food, because I follow an Asian page. Yeah, I follow a lot of things because I'm nosy and I like to see what people talking about. Okay?
Me too.
So the Asians was telling the full story of what happened, because you only see the video from the very feminine fight with a bunch of men. I seen girls fight tougher than that. They was just windmilling all over the place. And dude had on the black dude, the Afro immigrant had on a bonnet. Anyway, the Asian said that he went in there, bought food, wasn't happy with the food, and then he brought up the case in South Carolina and how racist they are. But you see the stupidity in that. You bought food, paid for the food, then you calling them a racist, and then they beat your behind. And guess who's not going to do anything about it? Us. Because your black ass shouldn't have been in there in the first place. But y'all the type of people that sit there and talk about, oh, y'all play the Chinese food. Y'all can boycott if y'all want. I'm going to eat this chicken and broccoli. Well, and they kicked your ass. In the most sissified way I've ever seen. All of y'all look like a bunch of punks. Like I said, I seen girls fight tougher than that growing up. Especially here in Brooklyn. What the hell?
And to top that up too, you see what's going on in Ireland, right? In Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland. When y'all get a chance, go into your TikTok search bars and put in Northern Ireland. Child, they are going into homes of these immigrants, set them on fire.
I did.
Their asses. They want you out their goddamn country. So what's next to Northern Ireland? The UK. The UK passed a law today saying they can get rid of all of the migrants immediately. They are closing up shop on y'all asses. But go ahead, Sister Brooke.
I did see that because I saw a Jamaican girl who was sitting there talking about somebody threw a rock in her store. She lives like, and it's the store, and she lives on the premises, and they threw a rock in there, and people was asking her, are you going to leave? And she was like, no, I'm not leaving. And the people in the comments was like, girl, why? You're not welcome. Like, go home. You're not welcome. But maybe she's not going home because they mad about the fact that Jamaica is about to accept all of some of our deportees. Oh, I was having a good time. This sidebar. I was having a good time this week in their comments because they mad. We don't want your deportees. Oh, what you expect us to keep them? Y'all think everybody, all of y'all want us to take in these same freaking people, but then now when they about to be moved over and we about to send them over to y'all you don't want people in your country taking advantage and using up your resources, your limited resources. Is that why you don't want them there, baby? Every time I see it, I'll say that in the comments. They be mad at me, and I'm not one. I don't really be trolling like that. But I'm just like, isn't that interesting? How you really don't want them using up your limited resources, right? You don't want that. You don't want the alternate cultures messing up your culture. Coming in and having their values which are different from yours. You don't want that, do you? But we're supposed to accept it. No, we tired. America is full. No more. As a matter of fact, get some of these ones that just came, especially these ones that just came in. Get them up out of here. Look at New York. Look what y'all doing. We can't even celebrate.
You see that foolishness?
It's a bunch of goddamn foolishness. I gotta celebrate in my house because I ain't going out to outside with y'all and that dumb shit. Y'all, come on, just dumb stuff. I mean, it's over sexual, it's over violent, it's disgusting. You guys are nasty. You're leaving the city in turmoil. You're tearing up shit. You can't even celebrate.
Hey, Sister Brooke, I
know for damn sure in 1973, when they won, the city didn't look like that when y'all wasn't here in large numbers like that. We can't even celebrate. Y'all are a fucking mess. But then y'all want to sit there and talk about, Spike Lee talking about, don't bring ICE here. I should have went to the daggone parade, because let me tell you something, and I said this to President Devine. If you worried about ICE, you're not a real New Yorker. If you have to be concerned about ICE, you're not a real New Yorker. By definition, you're an illegal immigrant. Come on. And I just want to say about Austin Metcalf's, Carmelo Anthony's parents. They took advice from Charleston White. At this point, I think we have to question everything about them. Every single thing. I question their intelligence. I question their motives. I question what they want this to end. I question what they're trying to actually do. I question it all. The man said, Church of Black Power said, right? He's in the chat. He said that they called into, he heard it himself, they called into Jason Black's show almost a year ago. So and Jason Black told him, send me an email. So they had a choice of people to get advice from. You had Jason Black on this side and Charleston White on this side. And they chose Charleston White. That says a lot about them.
Did you get the irony in that comment?
Charleston White and Jason Black?
Yeah, just still Black versus White. Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Same thing. He said, remember the video that Keisha played last week? The father said they was telling him, don't listen to this person. Don't listen to that person. Don't get advice from this person. Was that person Jason Black? Don't take the Black attorneys. Get a white attorney. White people are not all bad. This is in the state of Texas, and these people are supposed to be from Louisiana. If you are a multi-generational Louisianan and you sitting there talking about not all white people are bad in the justice system, we're not talking about the church. We're talking about law in the courtroom. When all you have seen, if you are Louisiana and Texas, that justice system, railroad, Black person after Black foundational Black American freedmen after foundational Black American freedmen after foundational Black American freedmen. This is what you are ingrained in, because remember what my mother is from Louisiana, multi-generational Louisianan. Small town Louisiana. She told me this is the way it has always gone. Do not expect anything different, my child. Don't get your hopes up, my love, when she was talking to me about the Trayvon Martin case. So how can you be a multi-generational Louisianan and listen to Charleston White tell you you need a white attorney and not all white people are bad? I question their entire existence. And then I just want to remind people of Professor Kaba's famous quote that I love to quote. It ain't over till we win. For other people coming from other countries, it ain't over till we get to America. It ain't over till we get to Canada. It ain't over till we get to the UK. But for us here, it ain't over till we win. And that's what we push for. And I'm going to end off on this. The Pan-African spirit has always been a bowing, ass-kissing, compromising. Work with the Ku Klux Klan. Work with the American Colonization Society type of spirit. That's what Pan-Africanism gave us. It's not what we gave to Pan-Africanism, but that's what it gave us. It gave us Marcus Garvey, who worked with the Ku Klux Klan. And what's his name what's his name in the 1800s that worked with the American Colonization Society? So from the inception of Pan-Africanism is a white ass kissing situation. Remember, I keep saying we were pouring libations to the wrong ancestors. As long as we have been on Pan-Africanism, we have gotten nowhere. We've been dogs chasing our tails. We have been running around the mulberry bush in circles. And now that we have put that bullshit to the side, doing our genealogy and pouring libations to our direct lineage and ancestors, woo, we got motion. We got action. And I'll end off on this. Y'all know I hate the word boycott. I hate that word. Because boycott, it just seems so passive. It seems so, it's another P word I want to use. And, you know, all those y'all from Brooklyn, y'all know what I want to say, but I ain't going to say it. I'll be nice. Okay? So passive. Okay? Very punkish. Right? I like economic castration. And if that is too strong for you, I get it, especially for some of the men. Y'all may not want to use that word. Okay. Economic starvation. That is the end goal. That is the call to action. When, you know, when OG Tad was sitting there talking about, oh, you know what I'm saying, Brooke always got a call to action. You got dang right. I like action. And the call to action now is economic starvation. Starve these people. When they were sitting there talking about, oh, but everything comes from China, I don't really care about the Chinese in China. That's your problem. I don't care about them. I'll buy something from China. I want y'all, the ones that are here, to take y'all asses back to China. I want to starve you here so that you can only survive in said China. So the ones that are here, my goal is to starve you here to make you want to go home. And you can deal with whatever the hell you got to deal with when you go over there. But right here in this country that's mine, in this here country where the blood is drenched in the sun, where my ancestors' blood is drenched in the soil. I want you to leave here. I want you to not be able to survive here. I want to starve you here. So that should be the goal. It shouldn't be 3 weeks. It should be till they are gone. That was my goal. Because once the nail shop was closed in 2018, I ain't never been to none of their cousins, they family members. I never been to another nail shop again in my life. Mark that. Because my goal was for them to never make another penny off me again. I don't go in a 99-cent stores, and sometimes you are forced, like you need something like right now, and you gonna get $1. Like if I gotta go in there for tape and I need the tape right now, and you know what I mean? $1. But if I can I'd rather give my money to Jeff Bezos before I give these Asians round in these Brooklyn parts, or the Queens now for that matter, these Queens parts. The goal is economic starvation. And there was a video where this Asian guy was sitting there talking about how much they value money. So when you see them talking about, that is Asian hate, to them it is. Your money is love. See, we think love is love, me showing you love, you showing me love, that's love. No, to them, money is love. And if you don't spend money with them, then you are hating them. That's how they look at it. So stop spending your money and stop giving them your love. Like that guy, you gave them love and then you call them a hater. They don't care. They got your money already. After they got your money, and then they said beat your ass, dropped all your food on the floor. So now you paid for nothing. You don't even got the food to eat. So you just gave them free money. And they'll probably pick up them chicken wings and serve it to the next customer. Because they nasty.
That was pigeon.
I wouldn't know because I don't go there. I wouldn't even know. I don't eat there.
Make your own food.
Make your goddamn right.
We taught them how to fry chicken. With the World Cup, you got a lot of Europeans that are coming to the States to watch the games and participate. You know what 2 things they want to try the most? And you can put that in your TikTok search bar. Big box stores like Walmart and soul food. Not Greek food, not Italian food, not African food, not Jamaican food, not Haitian food, soul food. So again, make your own food. Those brothers in the war taught them how to fry chicken. You can fry your own goddamn chicken.
Hey, Sister Keisha, them double-decker buses that was, I don't know if they still have them in New York. Remember them double-decker tourist buses that they used to have all over the city? The first stop for the one in Manhattan was Sylvia's for years. When I was living at home, I see it there all the time. All the time.
If you're on TikTok, you will see these Europeans going into Sylvia's and losing their minds.
They need to go.
They're going to Melba's. They're going to all these different places and losing their minds. But
hold on. I got to put this in here. Well, they need to go to Walter Good Eats. Okay.
Right.
2839 Frederick Douglass Boulevard in Harlem. Okay. Because President Devon said that Walter Good Eats was better than Sylvia's, better than Melba's. Okay. All right. Okay, I had the fried fish, the fried shrimp, the macaroni and cheese, and the collard greens. The fish was fried to perfection. The shrimp, I think that was the best fried shrimp I've ever had in my life. Period. Full stop.
And where's this at?
2839 Frederick Douglass Boulevard.
2839
Harlem.
Frederick Douglass.
Walter's Good Eats, right? I'll text you the address and stuff. Y'all need to go to Walter's Good Eats. Yes,
yeah, I think it's like
good.
I think
food.
It's like is that like it's either the 140s or 150s? It's way
I
up
think it's
there.
151. I want to say.
Yeah,
I want to say like 151.
Yeah, listen. No BS, brother Tad. The greens was so good. I was drinking the juice. Pause.
That's a fact. I saw it. I tried to get it on camera, but he got mad. He got mad.
I said you can't put that on no video. You heard, but yo.
But they seasoned the greens with smoked turkey.
Man, they had everything in there, man.
Yeah.
Man, listen.
Right. To the family in the chat, Armor Reed Peasy, Uncle Jess, we gonna have to pull up. Honor, we gonna have to pull up. Tell Connie we gotta take a ride up there and pull up. All right. Definitely want to try that. But going back to what Brother Black mentioned about the 3/5 clause, which was also part of the 14th Amendment that ratified that. So it was done. However, the philosophy of the courts and white males in particular, they still operate under that philosophy. That's what they believe. That's why they feel they could call us the N-word. That's why they could do you. Even though these laws were already ratified that I talked about earlier in the broadcast, they still live by that dictum. That's what they believe. So yeah, the laws may be ratified and off the books. They still live by that. And until you know what it should be, that's why a lot of people get railroaded. Because you don't know what the law is. You believe it. You got to sit second chair in your own defense. Always remember that. Sit second chair in your own defense. But I wanted to bring up,
before you go on, I wanted to add in the Ellis Island immigrants wish that they was here to participate in those, those times and being able to call us these things. And that's part of the reason why they came here, is to be able to push somebody else on the bottom or push us to the bottom, is, so I just wanted to add that on there because, Metcalf's dad, like I said, Ellis Island immigrant.
That's right, Sister Pat. Let me get some macaroni salad. Stop playing. Let me get some of that macaroni salad. Stop playing. But you still have people who will try to disrespect us, try to wedge themselves into who we are, even though they try to co-opt what we are.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, Sister Keisha, can I just say one thing real quick?
Get in, bro.
I think this is important about what we just talked about. Because I'm gonna we gotta let this cook. We gotta get that a goosey simmering.
Get it going.
I want the people to understand, because this is one of the points I wanted to make when brother Black brought that up, because this is the same line of logic and actual historical account that debunks the concept that we were not day one citizens and the 14th Amendment gave us our citizenship. So I want the family to understand that during that time, it was like the 1780s, like I think around 1787, of that 3/5 compromise, there were free people of color. So us, right, that were not enslaved, that were later mixed in to create the ethnogenesis of us, that were counted as whole persons during that 3/5 compromise. So it wasn't for the entire ethnic. So these are some of the pitfalls that these people fall into when they try to suspend all of history and give this ahistorical account of us being 3/5 of a human being, right? It was only for the now formerly enslaved, but for the enslaved of that day, because the South was trying to jockey for power and positioning. But those of us that were free, but still subject to the badge of slavery, they were counted as whole persons. So I just want to make sure everyone understands that. So it wasn't like all black people in the U.S. were 3/5 of a person. That's not what it was at all. And that's why that nuance needs to be there when you're discussing this topic, and stop people from saying, oh yeah, you were never in the Constitution, or you wasn't even a full person. Like, that is not true.
Thank you for the alley-oop. Thank you for the alley-oop, bro.
I love when he goes into that.
Love it. That's how the teamwork make the dream work. See what I'm saying? But this clown, I don't watch his movies either. I've seen enough slave movies. I'm well-versed in King. I know well enough about Bass Reeves. I don't need it. I don't need it. And I'm in line with Samuel Jackson. Y'all out of pocket. So I'm in line. But listen to this foolishness.
If you take the Nigerian accent like this and you slow it down, you put a lot of slavery in there.
Facts.
And then you start to put a little bit of subservience in it. This is what starts to happen to the Nigerian accent.
Man.
It goes this because literally, if you're down here and you start to speed it up, and then you start to take all the thing out of it, then before you know it, you're talking like this.
Now we are free again.
Now we are free. We are released.
Hey.
Subservience.
That's the most disrespectful bullshit I ever heard.
And again, these people have no content unless they discussing us.
None.
No content whatsoever unless they discussing us.
And where are the Pan-Africans?
Silent.
Agreeing with it.
Boom. That part, Brother Dad.
Agreeing with this bullshit.
That part. They like, yeah. Well, matter of fact, I've seen some in some of the comments. Where's the lie? Yo, let me get the black side of my hand on that chin. Are you crazy? Child.
Shit, let's finish this.
That was a smooth transition.
You see that?
Damn.
You have to study it. You have to study it.
You usually no. I do a southern accent.
No, the way he just did that whole thing. Go ahead.
Clear your throat. You know when you.
No. I gotta stay in my lane on that one.
Okay. A black dude from L.A.
Easy now.
Yes.
Easy now.
Yes.
Easy now.
A black dude. Are you from
Just say
LA?
cuz.
Born and raised in L.A.
So I have to.
Crenshaw.
So I've got to be like you.
Nah.
Well, I don't represent.
Definitely don't.
I speak too proper. So
I don't know. That's too loose.
I gotta be like cuz.
Cuz.
Hold on.
And get in the car, cuz. Get in the car, cuz. The car, man. I was in the car.
And we don't overemphasize like that.
You say core.
No, we don't say. We say
you say for and core. Get in the core. It's not that for.
We do not.
You're gonna be a store.
I can't match that. That's too specific for me. I would need my dialect.
It depends on where you are in LA.
Exactly.
I just hang around Snoop, so I'd be like,
I was gonna say that's real Snoop.
You talking about cuz?
Yeah, that's real Snoop.
Yeah, cuz.
Hang around so you can cosplay. Hang around so you can cosplay. Brother Tad, your thoughts on the shenanigans here?
They're full of shit and it's disrespectful. It's very disrespectful because, and see, this is the issue with Pan-Africans, because what did he say? Make it subservient. As if we don't stand 10 toes down on businesses. We don't stand on our square. That's why everybody want to be like us. When you go to the continent, all them talk about their liberation movements was based on what we was doing over here. Set off by Kwame Nkrumah, and the rest of them follow suit. They want to sit here and talk all that shit. We don't know where we from. Yet they shit got carved up in the Berlin Conference of 1884, which already gave us 2 decades of pseudo-freedom, whatever you want to call it, over here, before they even got colonized. So they don't know who they were before the white man told them who they were. I wish they would stop that shit. And it's disrespectful and it's disingenuous. And it's not funny and it's not cute because they perpetuate the idiocy. They keep it going. So everybody who come over here believe that's true because only us as FBA are challenging it. And the Pan-Africans are going right along with it because I didn't even read the comments. But coming from the Pan-African mindset, I know they agree with everything that any African says. And that's the disrespectful part of it. Because as Pan-Africans, they should stand on business. You want to honor your ancestors and all of that, then speak up for Big Mama. You know your grandmother wasn't on that type of time. So speak up for her. Speak up for your great-grandmother if you knew who they were. See, I was fortunate enough to grow up with my family, in my family. I knew both of my grandmother's mothers. I knew both of them. They taught me manners. They taught me family history. I have a recording of my grandmother talking family history before she transitioned. My mother's mother is still living. She's soon to be 90, you know, and still got her wit about her. She ain't lose her mind. She still know who she is. She can still talk about same stories about who her siblings are, who her mother and father is, and how she grew up. See, that's lineage. That's history. Not pouring libations to some people you don't know. You might be pouring libations to the people that sold you off. You don't know because you don't do no thorough research. You wait for somebody to tell you what to think. And that's the problem I have with all of these dudes. So people can sit right here, play in your face, be disrespectful, cosplay our lineage and culture, because before you know it, we're going to be wiped out. Same thing with the Jackson family and all these other people. You look at Michael Jackson kids, you look at Katherine Jackson's grandchildren. You wouldn't even know they black in another generation or two. But this is the ethno-cleansing. This is what's his name? The dude from Walter Plecker. This is what he did, paper genocide. Just write us out the books, especially if we don't stand up for ourselves. So that's what I'm saying, man. Be your own person, man. Stop listening to what other people got to say. Only rock with like-minded people. Because one thing I learned about in this movement, sis, Brother Devon, Sister Brooke, one thing I learned in this movement, in my decades, I tell anybody, I came in 1997 with Dr. Khalid Muhammad. I done sat at the feet of a lot of quote-unquote master teachers. And I've had personal conversations, personal thoughts. And a lot of these people, man, the people who hang around, not talking about the master teachers, just they little flunkies, they don't have their own mind. They wait for their instructions. They're afraid to disagree with somebody. So they'll see some shit like this, ask them what you think. Well, I don't know. And then they wait to see what Dr. Such and Such got to say. And then all of a sudden, they passionate about it, whether they for or against it. I sit and watch people not have their own independent thought. They wait to be told what to think. And that's not freedom to me. We keep talking about freedom. Be free to be yourself. I'm me. I'm Tad. I love who I am. I love my mother. I love my father. I love my grandparents. I'm not trying to change that for nobody or nothing. But all these people cosplaying who Black Americans are, and even people in the movement cosplaying who they think the quote-unquote thought leader is. And they ride their coattail. Suckers and cowards. And I've never been one to run with those types. So homie, kiss my ass. And I'm off my soapbox.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. But I want people to understand something. Because when I hear some of these panels, you know, some of these folks come in and they say, well, you know, slavery was way back then. A few years ago, we had on our platform Dr. Antoinette Harrell. And she talked about her research and biography of May Louise Miller and her family, who were held in Mississippi on a plantation until the 1950s. So don't tell me, you know, it was way back then. That's just one family. We also had on our platform an elder by the name of Reverend Gaddy. And Reverend Gaddy talked about his situation in Florida at a boys' home, and how and what they would do to Black boys at that home, and how they would, through the courts, steal people's children.
That was a painful show.
That was very painful. Very, very painful. You can check the archives. But anyway, just for some clarity about May Louise Miller. So when these folks tell you it was way back then, give them the middle finger.
The man they were visiting is May Miller's father. His name is Kane Wall, believed by the family to be 105 years old. He's been hospitalized for the past several months after suffering a heart attack. Mr. Wall is also part of the class action suit in Chicago filed on behalf of the 35 million African Americans who are descendants of slaves. Class action suits are always stronger when the plaintiffs include someone whose personal experience dramatically illustrates the wrong that's been done. It does not get more dramatic than the story May and her sister Annie told about life as slaves in Amite County, Mississippi.
Picking cotton, pulling corn, picking peas, picking butter beans, picking string beans, digging potatoes, whatever it was, that's what you did for no money at all.
How old were you when this started?
I was 5 when I was working.
Their story, which we have not confirmed independently, is not, however, unheard of. Justice Department records tell of prosecutions well into the 20th century of whites who continued to keep blacks in, quote, involuntary servitude, coercing them with threats on their lives, exploiting their ignorance of life and the laws beyond the plantation they were born into. The sisters say that's how it happened to them. They were born in the 1930s and 40s into a world where their father had already been forced into slave labor.
It was so bad I ran away, but they told my brothers they better come get me. I ran to a place even worse than where I were, but the people told my brothers, yo, you better go get her. They come got me, and he brought me back. So I thought Dad could do something about that. You know, I told him someone run away again. He said, baby, don't run away. They'll kill us. So I didn't try it no more.
How old were you when you ran away?
I was 9.
You were 9?
Mm-hmm.
They beat us. Like I said, they didn't feed us. We had to go drink water out the creek. We ate like hogs. We didn't eat like dogs because they do bring a dog to a certain place to feed dogs. We didn't have that.
You're saying they treated their dogs better than they treated you?
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, as I cannot read or write, I got a friend to write this. I never in school in my life. I worked on this man's farm all my life. I didn't get a cent for my labor until I ran away. I am 35 years old.
This letter resides in the Library of Congress, and there are many others like it, archived through the early 20th century by the NAACP. We told political scientist Ron Walters, who is an advocate for slavery reparations, the story of the two sisters we'd met in Louisiana.
I think a lot of Americans will hear this story and say, that can't be. That's unbelievable. But you believe it.
I believe it because it is plausible. One of the things I think we know is that these letters tell us that a lot of these places that they were kept in bondage or semi-bondage conditions in the 20th century were out of the way places where certainly where the law authorities didn't pay much attention.
But we uncovered a present-day plantation. We're concealing the identities of those living on this plantation to protect them from any repercussions.
If you had housing in the city which you moved, where you would pay like $70 a month?
Well, as long as it's around where I stay, yeah, I can do that.
You know, we couldn't get them to say anything about the owners on camera, but they explained to us off camera exactly what was going on, and they said to us if we were able to get them off of the plantation, that they would give us the full story on camera.
They would bring my mother to the house, and when they bring my mother to the house, one of us would have to go with my mother, so the master said. And so this was the particular time that I had to go with my mom. So my mom, and when it came to me, I was sitting there crying because when you don't know what's going on, I was sitting up there crying and so the lady said they coming to me. So the master's wife said to him and the other brothers or whoever they were, and she said, and they was sort of looking, and she said, "Oh no, no, honey, no, no," and she says, "She's not even a heifer yet." I didn't learn what that word was till over in the 70s. And she said, "She's not even a heifer yet. She's just a yearling. You can't." But they gagged my mouth and they raped me just like they did my mama. And there I was laying in that pile of blood. A little bit of girl didn't know what to do. And his wife had to clean me up. But that never stopped.
A former slave until the night.
So let me just be clear. When we go to these reparations hearings, I know what I'm talking about. Our people, no immigrant, none of you went through what she went through on this soil. In the 1950s, there is a movie that loosely talks about her life. The family disagreed with the outcome of the film. And it stars Keke Palmer and Carmen. It's called Alice. But our people, still, we in 2026. If you listen to the full interview of May Louise Miller, it's on YouTube. She's standing with Dr. Antoinette Harrell. Shout out to her. Dr. Antoinette Harrell is from Louisiana. But she talked about how her uncles had tried to run away. And they caught him. The people in the town caught him, told him they was going to help him, and brought him back to the plantation. So when they went out to start doing work, he said, the master told him to dig this hole. He didn't know what he was digging the hole for, but he was digging his own grave. So I don't want to hear from no goddamn Irish, no Italian, no Jamaican, no Nigerian, no Ghanaian, no Puerto Rican, no Dominican, no Haitian. None of you cocksuckers went through what May Louise Miller went through, her and her family. But you have the audacity to come here and show up at our hearings and tell us what we should or should not have, what reparations should or should not be, come and rename neighborhoods that we founded. Fuck you. Excuse my language. But that's where I'm at with it. That's where I'm at with it. When I sat and talked to Dr. Harrell, man, I couldn't sleep for weeks because I got the inside scoop of what that was excluded from that interview. That's what led me to Reverend Gaddis and his story. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody until the 19th. And I always encourage y'all, take your ass to the Library of Congress. That's just one story. As the interviewer was saying, there are thousands of these letters. Nobody went to prison. The whole state of Mississippi was complicit. So while you taking your dumb ass over to Africa, talking about you gonna rebuild or get a business started in Africa, your people in Mississippi and Louisiana need you, you goddamn idiot. They got whole towns that they will give to you if you're in tech. If you're in manufacturing, they'll give it to you. I don't want to help nobody but my own. And as Tad said, until you know your own family story, you're going to continue to believe the bullshit. Because until I peel back the layers on both sides of my family, and I got family members in the chat, they will tell you I peeled back the goddamn layers, generation by generation of our family. Until I read their stories, until I saw what they went through, until I pulled back those documents. I believed, listen, it'll change you. It'll change you. Know your family story. I don't want to do shit with Africa. Because dumb cocksuckers owe us too. And
I was there. I was there. So, yeah. 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 Yeah.
You know, but, you know, what are your guys? I know Brooke is heated with this story of May Louise Miller. You know, this, you know, I saw, what do you call it? Vice TV clip where they had interviewed her brother. And the pain in that man, when he talks about as a young boy, how they would come there and RAPE his mama. And he couldn't do nothing because he was a child. And then he talks to a black man who currently still works on the plantation, afraid to say what really is going on. So, you know, when you come to New York, Chicago, Detroit, LA, Miami, you know, and you trying to flourish, that's why I say drop all their asses in the Delta. Let me see if you wave your goddamn flags down there. Wave them. That stuff pissed me off. But I'm going to get off my soapbox and I'll bring my pressure down. I told my doctor when I see her Monday, pressure going to be down. So I got to bring my pressure down. Brother Divine, your thoughts?
Yeah, I just wanted to see if Sister Brooke wanted to go now. I know she's stewing and waiting. So I don't know if you want to go now or you need time to get your thoughts together.
Yeah, let me get it out the way. Please, if you don't mind. I appreciate you. I'm going to start with Godfrey. Godfrey is a literal professional impersonator. He impersonates Steve Harvey. He impersonates anybody he could get right. And he sat there and heard that bullshit of an explanation and said, yeah, like he doesn't impersonate every accent on the planet. He literally knows how to go from one accent to another. And I'm sure that's something he ain't never said that shit before. But he sat there and was like, yeah, that's what it is. And that leads me into them cosplaying our businesses, because that's an issue right now too. People are going around sitting there talking about, support Black business. They are not Black Americans. They are Afro immigrants, whether they are Caribbean or African. This is becoming a thing. You guys need to pay attention. If you would be one type of person, okay. But if your goal is to support foundational Black American businesses, especially in New York, you need to ask these people, where are your people from? Don't ask them where they from, because that's when they get to lie and talk about, well, I was born here. I'm a Black American. I got a blue passport. That's not what I'm asking you. I have been asking, when I want to know where they from, I've been stopped asking them, and this is before delineation. I've been stopped asking them, where you from? I go, where are your people from? And that'll get you the answer that you're looking for. Unless they just gonna outright lie. Right? They don't fight for better roles in the UK, but we're subservient. You're coming over here, and I think it was Church of Black Power. Was it him? I think it was him. He was playing a video of that girl from the UK. I don't know who it was. Now I'm not sure if it was him, but somebody was playing a video of that girl from, no, it was Great Black Shark. It was one of them two. Now I can't remember. They were playing a video with that same girl. Remember I had talked about her during BAFTA? The one that's over here. She's a British, I think Jamaican girl, and she's over here and she's an actress or whatever. And you talked about her, how she be talking about us crazy, and then she was saying how she loves it, the fact that we are actually getting in BAFTAs behind because they don't do nothing about it, right? So she talked about how they got to pay $5,000. They got to get letters of recommendation. They got to have 6 years of proof that they've been acting over there. All of this just to get a working visa to audition, just to audition here in the States. And then she talked about how she had to live in the house of her manager. So y'all out here buck dancing, twerking, jerking, doing whatever you gotta do for your white managers so that you could get these roles to play us, and then you got the nerve to say that we are subservient? You didn't fight in Nigeria. You didn't fight in Jamaica. You didn't fight in the UK. So you flee to flee to flee. She fled from Jamaica to the UK, then fled from the UK to over here. And same thing with him. He fled from Nigeria to the UK, then fled from the UK over here. Once they saw you hopping, you leapfrogging to where the fighters are. Because there's more opportunities here. Why are there more opportunities here? Because apparently we are so subservient that we fight for opportunities. That you now flee your ass over here to take advantage of. You cosplaying sons of bitches. And ain't these, and y'all sit there and y'all want to talk about we're subservient. Aren't you the same MFers talking about y'all not boycotting shit? But we're subservient. Aren't you the same MFer who had a bonnet on J Street buying Chinese food and then got your ass whooped like a hoe? But we're subservient. Projection. Then when you guys were saying that, when she said, now we're going to get to the heavy stuff. When she said, she said they were eating worse than dogs because even a dog, you go and you bring them food. It reminded me of how we're being treated today. Follow me. The LAPD just shot this lady's dog the night of the championship game. She was in her house. She was celebrating the Knicks win, but she's over there. So, they didn't know what the hell she was celebrating. She's screaming just like we all screamed because we couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe that they actually won. We were so in shock and happy. So she screams in her house. One of her neighbors called the police. The LAPD came over there and shot her dog. For no reason. And the dog was a Scottish Terrier mixed with a poodle. It wasn't even no pit bull, no Dachshund, no, what's some other demon dogs?
Rottweilers, Dobermans.
Yes, Rottweilers and Dobermans. Them demon dogs. That's what I call them. They look like demons straight from the pit of hell. It looked like they escaped. Okay? It wasn't even none of them kind of dogs. She had a, do you know how cute a Scottish Terrier mixed with a poodle is? That is the cutest thing. Fluffy as hell. They shot her daggone dog. Here's the point. Let's watch how much press this gets. Let's watch all the activists come out, because they will. And don't get me wrong, I feel bad for this lady. I really, really do. I really, really do. And it really, really is messed up that they shot her dog. But people who would never fix their mouths to talk about what happened in South Carolina will now talk about this dog. And how unfair, and how it's not right, and how unjust, and what's wrong with the LAPD. I knew where she was going because I think that documentary is on Amazon Prime. Because I know I've seen it, but I don't remember. Now I don't remember if the brothers' interviews, I think it was just her. So I'm going to definitely look into the brothers' interview, but I do remember them talking about the fact that the brothers had left, and then they went somewhere and they brought them back. Or maybe I think that happened to her too. She escaped, and wherever she escaped to, they ended up bringing her right back.
Correct. I put both parts in the chat.
I'm definitely gonna take a look at that. So I'm gonna look at that one. But that documentary is also on this. I think it's just her on Amazon Prime. So I've seen that. So I knew where she was going, which is why I started tapping. Like I noticed that I do that when I want to calm down. I tap, right? This is why I don't stand with a white bitch on shit. You think I ever stand with a white bitch about abortion? Fuck no. You think I would ever stand with a white bitch on women's rights? Fuck no. You think I would ever stand with a white bitch on any fucking topic? Fuck no. A workplace, nothing. I don't give a fuck what it is. Me and a white bitch could never stand together on nothing, because did you hear what she said? She said, the white woman said she not even a heifer yet. She's just a yearling. This is the 1950s. And then she sat there while her husband and brothers raped a 6-year-old. Was she 6, 8? How much was she said she was?
9 years old.
9. She sat there and watched. And then cleaned up the crime scene. Remember when we were talking about the girl who went to Africa with that white dude, and he ended up murdering her?
Yep.
And then he got off for it. And I told y'all that I never looked at white men as viable options for dating, because I know the history. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Whenever a white man has seen me as I don't even know what to say, shown any type of interest in me, my thoughts always go back to, if this was a different day and time, there would be no for me. There will be there would be no choice for me. And I swear to God, I can see it in their eyes. I can see it when they look at me. I can feel it crawling up my skin as they watch me walk or watch me move. I can feel it. It is why I could never consider a white man as a viable option for dating or marriage or sex. Let's be real. I could never. These men have been the most vile. And it's also why I could never talk shit about Black men in that way. There wasn't no Black man that was doing that to her. So, you know what? I just want to say one last thing.
Go ahead, Sid.
In Africa, when the white man comes around, the white women get on board. In the Caribbean, when the white man comes around, the Black women get some act right. But we're subservient. Fuck out of here. And I'm done.
I just want to give some clarity too. I put the 2 links in the chat that you can watch. But I want you to picture this. They lived in barns. They slept on bales of hay. They didn't have things to cook. They didn't know what that was. If a snake crawled by, they would grab it, pick it up, and bite it, and pass it around. That's how they ate. So when I see, and Brother Tad worked within the environment, he can confirm these goddamn migrants come over here and get credit cards with $6 grand on it. They can have what kind of meals they want. Are you crazy? That's crazy work. That is crazy work. And anybody okay with that, you should go to the nearest wall and ram your head through it. Because you're not that bright. They have to get a snake, bite it, and pass it around so that the family could eat. But you give migrants, illegal criminals, vouchers and money and housing, and they slept on bales of hay. But you come to our hearings and tell us we don't deserve reparations, that reparations should be education, that reparations should be a program. Negro, please. You out your goddamn babbling mind. I'll land there. I gotta get off of that.
I want to say one last thing. I just put up 2 videos of bleaching, which is very heavy in Africa and the Caribbean. But we're subservient. In one of these videos, the white man said, we come here looking for these pretty brown girls, pretty dark girls. And they are trying to be white. They said, you see, when I bleach, I get this pretty white color. Pretty. Nobody wants to be black and ugly, black like tar. But we're subservient. Here, we say black is beautiful. We say the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice. Here we say black is powerful. We say are proud to be black, all the things. But over there, black is synonymous with ugly. But I'm just going to keep ringing that bell. We're subservient. You're the one that lay down for the white man every chance you get. The women lay down for the white men, and the men will take the fattest, whitest woman they could find.
Sister Brooke, let me ask you, do you remember the brand of bleaching cream that they use?
It's in there.
It's one of them White Nations? Because I remember there was a
bleaching cream. I do
Nations.
remember that one. White Nations. Yeah,
like
one of their stars.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, yo, some of these people mindsets are like parodies. You can't make them up.
Word. Can't make it up.
It's like straight comedy. It's like man's brother comedy.
And the delusion. Like, it's something wrong with, look at this woman. It's something wrong with her mirror. She looks burnt. Like, it's something wrong with her mirror. They see that all she sees is she's not as dark as she was. She don't see the how she's ruining her skin. She don't see any of that. The delusion is so great within these people. It's crazy. I'm gonna let y'all play this.
When my daughter was 9 years old, we took her to Jamaica. Thank God she got a mama like me, who taught her who she is, what she is. My daughter is around Tad's complexion, maybe a little bit darker, Brother Devon. However, at 9 years old, she said, I don't want to come back here. They were fawning all over her. Ship Browning! Oh God, Ship Browning! She didn't like that, and she didn't like the stray dogs. I don't want to come back here. I don't want to come back here. But even a child can pick up this foolishness. Let me play this. Hold on.
And I catch a really white color. It's even whiter than the real white people, the color that I catch.
That's the thing about bleaching in Jamaica. The female, and when them see it, them go crazy. Them be like, yo, you're pretty, you're white, you're just white, I'm pretty. So
how often do you bleach your skin?
Every day. White like Michael Jackson, babes.
First time I try to get white, I use that Allerderm thing there, put it on my face. I may tell you, say, give me a reaction. It make my face come like them sour sap fish there in a water. You know, specker. If you ever know them fish, specker. You know what I'm saying? Black and thing, it look away, I'm white. You see me?
When did you decide that you wanted to try it out? And like, what really gave you that push to actually go out and do it?
Well, you know, me have like one whole heap of bump on my face and all over. So one day I see my cousin with some bleachings. Me actually use some on my face and me see bump them. Like them I move like 3 nights and they bump them gone. And then he give me this smooth looks and everything what me like.
If I leave on the beach, me up in beach, the summertime. Hey, every month.
I can't play that song because we're gonna get a flag. But
what are some of the things that you can do? Tell, like,
all right,
something.
take for instance. Come here, my friend Diggs.
Come, Biggs.
This is our bleacher.
Biggs? No.
Yesterday this is stretch mark.
I thought it was just big.
No, this comes from bleaching.
Can you get this? This is from bleaching, Carl?
Yeah.
So you are a bleacher.
He was white.
What?
He just come back black.
You just come back black?
She rub it on her face, and here, it burns. It burns her face well black.
Some of the time you find some part with different color because why like like your knuckles.
Let me see your knuckles. They claim the knuckles will stay dark.
Brown, but after a while you can get it out.
So we do see your old complexion there.
Yeah.
With your knuckles.
Yeah.
But you don't know bleaching change of a color. Sometimes it make you red, sometimes it make you pink, it make you brown, it make you black. Sometimes there are people that bleach you brown and get black, 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 black.
Because if you look at a real white person, that person might look pink, and that pink that he has is like a stage in my bleachings. So that's a stage before I get to super white.
I just want to say this real quick. So that the song, when you cut out the song, Vibes Cartel was talking about being in the summertime and being outside with an umbrella, hiding from the sun so that he don't get, he don't reverse the bleaching, all the bleaching that he did. Okay, I'm done. I just wanted to tell what the song said about it.
I'm an old head, so I know the old song. Them I bleach out
Them I bleach out the skin, them I bleach, them I like a brownie, them I bleach.
I remember it was a thing they used to diss. Now they just embrace it.
I remember back then, I thought they was really putting like, Clorox on their skin. I didn't understand. I didn't really understand what that meant. The concept of skin bleaching was so foreign to me. I didn't understand what that meant. You know what I mean? Nor did I even know what it looked like. I had no clue. I didn't understand.
And here we be running out into the sun. We be going to the beach and the pool just to get a little tan.
Greasing up.
Yeah.
Greasing up.
Not even probably either. Putting baby oil, cocoa butter, whatever. Something sizzle it up a little bit, get a little browner. These folks is wild. But this is the mentality we dealing with. Whether it's the folks who say they freedom fighters but won't go down and liberate our brothers and sisters in Alabama. Then you got people across the water who want to look like the people that oppressed them. And it's all a mindset thing, you know what I mean? And I'm going to keep standing on this hill, and I'll down this hill, telling everybody, be your own person, man. Think for yourself, but work for the group. Think for yourself, but work for the group. It's too much group think going on. Nobody's coming with an idea outside of the box to say, yo, y'all, all right, I see we trying to do this. This is the goal, but how about we try it this way? Because everybody I don't know, man, these antiquated ideas. The shit don't work, so you're going to keep trying it. You see the key don't fit the lock, but you think if you push harder or turn to the left or turn to the right, it just don't work. It's not going to get you to where you want to be. Try something different. And that's people's problem. They're afraid to pivot because they don't have their own ideas. They don't have their own thoughts. They worried about what everybody else say. I love all our scholars. I love all our freedom fighters. I love what they done in the time that they done it. But we're in a whole different space now. Whole different battlefield. The terrain done changed, man. Dudes still trying to march. People still thinking just typing elaborate posts or making videos is really doing the quote unquote work. Nah, take children out, educate them, teach them self-defense. That's what me and Sister Keisha did. We ain't start this online. We was in the community. We was going to the range. We was teaching young children self-defense, taking them to museums, having conversations with them, teaching them how to love themselves. Not showing them black people as victims, but black people as victors. Teaching them about all the dope shit we've done, how we've developed this country, how we did fly shit in spite of what we had to deal with as black people in America. Now, the boogeyman did this to us and the boogeyman did that to us. Yeah, they did this, and this is how we overcame. Every story, every hero's journey starts with a conflict and how that person overcame it. That's what makes you a hero, not a goddamn victim. But people want to keep acting like the boogeyman. You talking to a kid from Bed-Stuy who literally played the knockout game. I remember when a popular influencer said the knockout game wasn't real. I was like, shit, he's a lie. But of course, I won't say his name because he got so many minions. It ain't no knock on people who support the brother and follow him, but everybody don't always get it right. These people are human. And sometimes they don't know what they're talking about. It sounds good. They're eloquent. They got a massive following, but they don't know what they're talking about because they're not on the ground with the people. They may walk around the people, but they're not living that experience on a day-to-day basis because they're too busy on the internet. How you living this experience? You on the internet 24/7. You can't be in the street and the internet at the same time. You can't be helping people and popping shit off a soapbox at the same time. And that's the reality. And that's why I appreciate you, Brother Devon and Sister Brooke, because me and Sister Keisha, you know what I'm saying? We get that little OG wisdom, give a little guidance, you know what I'm saying? But also be willing to open up to y'all ideas. Because y'all got fresh ideas, new ideas. Y'all know the new landscape. People, I know this ain't the 90s no more, so I'm off that. And some people before us think it's still the 60s. But this y'all time now. And Sister Keisha and myself, we're humble enough to know the yield. But some of these old heads, man, I still want to shoot 5 with them. I ain't going to hold you. I'll be in that gym doing my pull-ups, push-ups, and dips. I'll be doing my jailhouse workout. Because Dr. Francis Cress Wilson said, ain't that how they do it? Because Dr. Francis Cress Wilson said, and she said, the only thing that's going to overthrow this is strong, male, masculine muscle. But when you look at a lot of these quote-unquote freedom fighters, they're either too thin to win or they gout is acting up. They got heart problems, heart palpitations. They ain't serious about this quote-unquote war. These people don't take care of themselves. They rusty. They out of shape. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't with it. I'm on some pull-ups, push-ups, dips, run about 5 to 10 miles, still throw hands for an old head. In the event, I got to defend my family and my community. That's why our pull-up game is tight, because we with it. We with the smoke. Let's scream fuck the world and see who mean it. As my man Gutter said, we're going to go to hell together. We're going to go to hell. Because everybody, they got this, but they ain't got these. And and when we talk about the aggression against our people, that's all it is. It's violence. And Malcolm said, you know what I'm saying? When it's in self-defense, you can't even call it violence. You call it intelligence. That's what the little brother Carmelo did. He exercised intelligence in terms of making sure he wasn't the one laid out. Because I seen some people in the chat popping shit, talking about how you defend him. He's not a victim. He's the leader. He's the nah. The whole thing is to get home. At the end of the day, make it home. If it comes to me and you, you're gonna lose every time. Make no mistake about it. Me and you losing every time, Jack. And I'm here to talk about it. It ain't like people ain't never tried to delete me. I'm here to talk about it. We're not gonna play that game. I got people who love me that's waiting for me to walk through the door. I'm not gonna appease your fragile ego and lay down for you. That's what a lot of these quote unquote leaders and influencers want you to do. They want you to be cowards. Nah, I ain't with it. I'm about that action. I'm about that smoke. That's the only reason I came into the movement. Because how do we defend the people we say we love? You know what I mean? So when I hear that dude, what's his name? Oyewele, or whatever his name is, that actor. Because I saw that interview. And they act like the Brits come over here and they're better actors. You ain't messing with Samuel or Denzel or the plethora of dope-ass actors we got over here. And then on top of that, ain't homie married to a Becky anyway? So you can't represent like you a freedom fighter and all that, and you cuddle up with pig meat. Come on, man. Cut it out. Cut it out, man. But this is what we talking about. Everybody cosplaying us like they really about that life, like they freedom fighters. And then they go home to baloney lips. But I'm off my soapbox. Brother Devon, what you want to put on that?
Man, y'all was patiently waiting. I think I'm looking at the time. I was like, I'm just going to have this be my final thoughts because I ain't want to give this thoughts and then have to do final thoughts. So I'll wrap it in because it's getting late. And I know, I ain't hit a hard stop, but I know the bell about to ring. And I'm glad you guys said a lot, so I don't have to repeat it. But you did take my Becky line, but I will say this. Your name is David. I'm going to say that again. Your name is David. You're the definition of subservience. That ain't a Nigerian name. They named you subservience. You speak in English, David. And to Godfrey, and I think, and then people have been saying it in the chat, so we don't even got to drive this point too far home. Godfrey is an open enemy. There's no more, and I said this a couple of shows ago when we were talking about other people. That whole law of, oh, but I did this one good thing. Or I did a couple of good things, so we're going to excuse the bullshit that I'm on now. We're not doing that. Godfrey's on that bullshit. Because not only is he a professional impersonator, like Sister Brooke said, I heard you say, and now we are free. I heard you. And what we saw was just video evidence of what most people that grew up in New York around these Afro immigrants and have befriended these Afro immigrants to the point where the Afro immigrant will become a double agent for you. We just got a chance to see it, be the fly on the wall, because that conversation that they were having is the conversation that they have when we're not there. That's why they got so comfortable. Because everybody is Nigerian. David is a two-time fleer. He fled Nigeria to the UK, then fled the UK to come here. Because like I said about those other Nigerians in that other space, they are about getting a better life for themselves by any means necessary, no matter how many countries they got to flee to or who they got to step over. And that's before getting to, like Brother Taz said, you sitting up there with a Becky. And the reason why they're so comfortable with that, and I think somebody else said this in the chat, these are the longtime partners and former accomplices of the white supremacists. So moving in these spaces while trafficking in white supremacist talking points and being anti-foundational Black American, that's a part of their culture. That's a part of who they are, which is why it was so easy for them to get on board with the xenophobia and anti-foundational Black American sentiment that David was parroting. Here's something else that I said here before that I think we need, that this drives home as well. Similarly to Garvey, where his entire movement was a Jamaican's interpretation of what it meant to be a foundational Black American, that's what you saw with David. See, the one thing that he said that was honest, that he then had to lie and pretend he apologized for, is that that was a Nigerian's interpretation of how you go from Nigerian to a foundational Black American. That's how he does it. And this is why Godfrey is an open enemy. Because that's not how Godfrey does it. Because that's not how it's done. I'm not an impersonator. I've seen enough videos on it and other people that are impersonators, and they just talk about changing inflections, changing facial expressions to match the facial expression of the person they're trying to impersonate. It has nothing to do with subservience or any of the other xenophobic things that David said. But because it's in his culture, those are the only words that would come to him to describe it, because that's what he's doing mentally when he does it. And that goes toward why none of these performances resonate with the people that they're supposed to resonate with. And I don't need any answers from the panel or anybody in the chat. But if I asked you to say, what is your favorite part, or what resonated with you the most about when Denzel played Malcolm, something comes to your mind right away. What about when Angela Bassett played Tina? Something comes to your mind right away. Now let's talk about David playing Martin Luther King. I didn't even see it. How about the troll underneath the bridge playing Harriet Tubman? Nothing. I forgot her name, but what about that other Nigerian British actress that played Whitney Houston with The Gap? Didn't look nothing like Whitney, can't sing like Whitney, but got a chance to play Whitney. What was your most memorable moment in that movie? Who knows? And this is the issue that the industry has, but more importantly, what these tethers have. You don't resonate with the people, because another foundational Black American proverb is real recognizes real, and we know you fake. Matter of fact, we know you phony, you fake. And that's the type of people we hate. And it ain't even about hating you for being you. It's hating you for thinking you could be me, or you could be us, and that you can do it better than we do it. All the while disrespecting us while you do it. And so Sister Brooke brought up Muhammad Ali and that Cassius Clay moment. And I'm not talking about I'm an advocate for violence, but I know there's a group of people on this planet, and y'all convincing me that y'all are part of this group, that don't understand nothing but violence. And we see it happen in all the other countries that y'all are in, that y'all are unwelcoming. And I'm trying to tell y'all before it gets there that we not the ones to be played with. Go play with your mama, because it's getting real close to the day. See, what Sister Brooke failed to tell you about that Cassius Clay moment is that Muhammad Ali made a statement about that Cassius Clay moment when he was fighting one Ernie Terrell. And I'm trying to warn you, tethers, don't become Ernie Terrell. Because Muhammad Ali had to ask him a number of times, what's my name? And he could have took Ernie Terrell out a long time ago, but he stretched it out over all 15 rounds because he had a point to make and an ass whooping to give. And so do not get your ass whooped. If you just tell us what our name is on the first time, we can let bygones be bygones, and you can do whatever you're going to do. But you keep playing this game of these Caribbean Juneteenth parties and calling us African American when we already told you what it is, and playing in our face with these boycotts, lying about your businesses being Black owned when you know you're a Caribbean owned and an African owned business that's going to send our Black American dollars to your homeland. When y'all sitting up there blocking our legislation, listen, one of my favorite movies is Gladiator. When Maximus told Caesar, the days of honoring yourself are quickly coming to an end. So live it up while you can, because all of you gatekeepers are on notice. is but so much longer you're going to be able to keep us down and out to where we can't affect you. It's already happening. It's already happening. So get on the right side of history. Get out the middle of the street. Because like Sister Brooke affectionately says all the time, this is a freight train going over 100 miles an hour. Another Black American proverb. Somebody get that baby out the street. Because if you don't get yourself out the street, there's only one other option for you. You can get your ass ran over. And so on that note, I want to say two final things. I want to give a shout out to the Bronx Borough President, Sister Vanessa Gibson. She had an event on Wednesday, yesterday. I went all the way up to the Bronx because she had the Juneteenth flag. She had the correct colors. She raised the flag up there in the Bronx. And we had a great conversation about lineage-based repair advocacy. And I'm not sure if she is a foundation Black American, but one thing that she did say was that when she first started doing this in the Bronx, that somebody approached her and said, hey, that's you using the wrong flag. And from that first correction till present day, she's used this Juneteenth flag every year on Juneteenth because she said, all I want to do is make sure I get it right. And how could you not respect someone, especially in the face of all these people dedicated to getting it wrong, knowing they could get it right because they benefit when it's wrong and when it's not right. And last but not least, on Saturday, June 20th, no, this Saturday, we're having our first genealogy event up in Harlem. It's gonna be at the 340, I think. Is that 340 Lennox? I don't got the address off the top of my head, but I would definitely get that before the broadcast over and put it in the chat. But yeah,
just send it to me and I'll post it on our social media.
Oh, perfect. So yeah, we having our first genealogy event in honor of Juneteenth. It's a nationwide effort. It's going to be an event taking place in California and Ohio, and I believe Michigan and New York on the same day, roughly at the same time, obviously given time frames and time zones. So this is what we're talking about. And the name of it is, I think it's so appropriate, is Roots to Repair. Because when you think about our story, and in light of what Sister Keisha shared about the documentary, and I did see that movie Alice, so I'm really, really curious about what they didn't like, because I felt like the movie did it justice at the end. That was the only part of the movie I liked, was how they handled them at the end. But I won't give it away for anybody that wants to see it. But the bottom line is that not only does our story justify everything that we fighting for, everything that we standing on, and some of you might have, or might be related to our sister May, right? But even when it's not, because that's how strong our bond is and we family, when you hear a story like hers, and there are countless others, and it's connected to the fight that you're doing, can't nobody stop you. And not just can't nobody stop you, can't nobody tell you shit. And I want all of us to adopt this mentality, because we're seeing the blatant disrespect coming from the quote unquote diaspora that's supposed to be talking about unity. And it's bullshit, because all of them have the same playbook. First, they try to justify why they're not calling you by your name. Then they start trafficking in racist tropes. Then they start deflecting and lying when you start hitting them with the facts. Then all of a sudden, I'm all about Black unity. You couldn't lead with that if that was the case. You only get to Black unity once everything that you try to do doesn't work and it's debunked. And you see we standing on business. Then the fallback position is, oh, well, let's just do unity. And we've accepted that fake ass unity plea for too long, and we're not doing it no more. So I want all of us to get to the point where we are okay being the bad guy for all of our ancestors that were the good guys and the good girls, the good men, the good women. Because if we don't do it, nobody else will. And all these other people are invested in making sure we don't get to where we need to go because they benefit if and when we don't. And I don't know anything that's more diabolical than that, other than them using our proclivities and our inclination to give them a pass based on melanin, and they're weaponizing that against us because they know if they didn't have melanin, we will be able to see them even more clearly than we already do. And that's insidious. And I'm just excited that more and more of us are waking up and we're not giving nobody no more melanin passes, and it don't matter how you fucking feel. Put a cape on and be super mad. Like I'm gonna put the Juneteenth cape on Saturday and on Friday and Saturday, and I land there.
Chef Brother Divine. Sorry, we got the last word. You just dropped the mic and slam it.
The Iron Chef.
President Divine.
Chef President Divine or President Chef Divine.
But the wake up is real. The wake up is real. Sister Brooke sent me this earlier.
Bro, I ain't gonna lie. It feels good seeing Black Americans no longer want to be accepted by other ethnic groups or other races, bro. It's like niggas then took back their dignity and their pride, and they like, nah, we not accepting or inviting y'all to come over no more, bro. Nah, we done. The gates are closed, gang. The gates are closed. And it's crazy how, like, a black person can get on TikTok right now today and uplift black people, and it'll summon white people and other races to come start hating in the comments, bro. To the point where they'll make a second video like, yo, I wasn't even talking to y'all. I was talking to my people. Why are y'all in my comments? It's just funny, Fuka. I just seen this one girl talking about it, and it's like, yeah, bro. I think y'all starting to realize it. It's like y'all gotta go be creative, bro. We're not inviting y'all in to come steal nothing. We're gonna party with us, by us, and a lot of black people shopping black-owned businesses, bro. And it's really irritating for you can see it in the comments and on this app. You can see the hate, bro.
Delineation. And that's another thing that the pan goofies can't seem to grasp. They don't have the ear to youth at all. But delineation does. They don't get it. But I don't know if Sister Brooke is coming back. Brother Black said he had to go. Wish everybody a good one. Sister Marcia says, happy Father's Day to our brothers on Sunday. And happy summer solstice. Go ahead, Sister Brooke.
Yes, just a couple things I just wanted to that because one thing I forgot to mention about that Ole, whatever his name is. If you watch the interview a little bit more, he talks about the fact that he comes from a family of chiefs and kings. If he was a chief or a king, that means he was a slave trader.
Selling folks.
Unmitigated gall of a fucking descendant of a slave trader to ever fix your treasonous, self-hating mouth on the people who fought. President Divine talks about all the time. What's that place called? What do they call it? The land of the whites, or the death of the whites, or something like that. White folks couldn't even go over there because of the malaria. That's what y'all got to get that through your head. Because they like to be like, oh no, the white man came and did it. No. They couldn't set foot on the island. That's why they had to take the people to that island. They couldn't set foot on the continent. They had to take people to that island on the coast of the continent. Because if they set foot over there, they would die until modern vaccines and all those things came into place. And then they were able to go over there. Do you got the name, President Devon? You want to interject that name?
Yeah. I was gonna put it in the chat. It was called the White Man's Grave.
White Man's Grave.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all have been complicit co-conspirators with the most disgusting, vile people on the planet. But you call us subservient? I also want y'all to remember that the people that they're calling subservient, they had to drug because they fought. Remember how I first learned about them. I first learned from a friend of mine, a Nigerian friend of mine, who went home to Nigeria, went to the slave dungeons and castles and learned. And then she just in casual conversation, as she's talking to me about it, she starts talking about the fact that they had to drug the passengers because they kept turning over the boats. They kept sinking the boats. They kept killing the crew. They kept doing all of these things. So they had to poison a well, do voodoo on it, spiritual rituals, herbs, all types of things to get the people to be passive for the trip. These are the people that they talking about were subservient. Remember that. And his people were the ones doing it at the behest of white folks. You have always been their servants. You have always been their do boys to sell out your own fucking mama. And you gonna call us subservient? Then I'm gonna end off with this. Black people, stop sending your kids to these white schools. Stop, especially when they're super young. As a person who I lived in New York for most of my life, then my mom moved us to California. Then I went from being a 99% black, black population in the school to being a 1% black population in the school, where every class I was in, I was pretty much the only black person in that class. And I'm telling you, as a person, and at that time, I'm a teenager. So at that time, I have the wherewithal to analyze situations. And let me tell you something, all you're doing is indoctrinating your children in psychological damage. The younger you do it, the worse the damage. Sometimes when they're older, you know what I'm saying, if they're in high school or whatever already, it's a little easier, you know what I'm saying, because their foundation is already there. But if it's kindergarten and younger, baby, let me tell you what it does. When you have little girls, it takes your little girls and it teaches them that they're ugly from early. Everything about them is ugly. The color of their skin is ugly. The kink in their hair is ugly. The size of their nose is ugly. The size of their lips is ugly. And let me tell you how that happens, because everybody else in the class is of a different race. And all the boys want the girls of a different race. They start saying things like, I want my hair to swing. That's why when you see a lot of these girls who grow up in these neighborhoods, all they do is get braids all the time because they just want their hair to swing. Regardless of what their edges be chewed, hair dry as all the Sahara Desert. They don't put no oil in it, none of that. But they got braids hanging on whatever 2-3 strands they got because they want their hair to swing. So this is what you're doing to you, how you're psychologically damaging your girls. And then when it comes to the boys, you put your boys in there. The boys want to be with the girl that all their friends thinks is the prettiest. And we already determined that that's not the black girl. So then now you end up with a son who thinks that the prettiest girl he's ever seen is a white girl or a Hispanic girl or a Filipino girl, not black. So this is how you psychologically damage your children when you're putting them in these schools, not to mention what the teachers are doing to them, telling them that they're not smart enough, that they can't do it, or that limitations, they're not making sure that they're doing the work, you know, all of the things, or they're going too hard on them. You're psychologically damaging your children when you do this. You think that you're getting them a better education. You're better off putting your child in the hood school and getting them a goddamn tutor. Sending them to test prep or whatever the heck. You understand what I'm saying? Then because at least there's something that happens. Let me tell you, I'm telling you, look, and I'll tell you a personal story. Growing up in New York, I never knew I had big lips. Until I moved to California. And when I moved to California, it was like, all of a sudden, it was like, Lord, those lips are huge. I developed a complex for a short amount of time. Do you know what got me out of that complex? The image of my mother. Because these lips come from my mother. And my mother, to me, is one of the most beautiful women on the planet. It don't really get much more beautiful than my mom, right? She's the ultimate lady, the ultimate she's just the most beautiful. And so therefore, I had to logically say, if these lips come from my mother and my mother is one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen, then my lips must be beautiful too. And it took me a while to get there. There was a time when I wanted to get surgery to reduce them. If I'd have had the money at that time, I would have did it. And God knows what ramifications I would have suffered because maybe the surgery would have went wrong. You understand what I'm saying? All of these things, how I would have ruined my face. Who knows? But this is what, and at that time, I'm trying to tell you, I'm in high school already. So even that, the damage you're doing to your girls, the damage you're doing to your boys. Look, you don't have to apologize. Now I'm good now. Y'all see, my thing is, if your lips gonna be big, they can't be dry and crusty like Malik Yoba, because he's another one that did psychological damage, okay? Because I was like, hell, I don't want my lips to look like Malik Yoba's lips every freaking week. So, you know, I'm cool now. God is good. And because my mother, like I said, she constantly gave me reassurance and all of these things. So the damage didn't last very long. I was able to work my way out of it. And so but it's also because of the foundation that my mom gave me and the foundation that I got before I got there. But even with that foundation, I had to work my way through it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's just a personal story of the damage that happens to your children. And I saw pretty black girls in California don't even know they pretty. Don't even know. Because nobody is looking at them. Nobody is telling them that they're pretty. Nobody, because all the, they too black. No, so stop sending your kids to these schools. Like I said, you're better off. You're not getting them a better education. You're getting them an education in psychological damage. They're getting an education in white supremacy, and not in a good way. Thank you, sweetheart. And I will land there. I have said everything I want to say. Thank you so much for letting me say that.
Y'all enjoy the rest of your week. Stay dangerous. and safe at the same time. Enjoy your Father's Day. If you don't have your fathers,
happy Father's Day!
Enjoy those uncles.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy those uncles, those cousins, those brothers of yours, and your friends from around the way. And if they got a beard, Sister Brooke sells a beard oil.
That's right.
Your
Yes,
brothers,
she does.
uncles,
And it feels good.
they might like it. So you go to evenmelanin.com, get that beard oil for them, all right?
Yeah.
So I just want y'all to appreciate yourselves a little bit more.
We love
Know
y'all.
the lineage from which you come from. Remember the story of May Louise Miller, connected to your own lineage. Brother Divine says tomorrow they have an event. Is it tomorrow? Saturday.
Saturday. It ain't Friday yet. It's almost there.
Almost there. I know. I got to get downstairs and take my meds. But Saturday, if you can, get uptown in Harlem. Is it in Harlem or Brooklyn? Malcolm
It's
X.
in Harlem.
Then you can go over to Walter's Good Eats. See how that works?
True.
See how that works? Don't say
Word.
So
tell them Brooke sent you.
Yep. I was about to say something else, but I won't do that to Devon. Well, he said it. I didn't. But anyway.
Better than Sylvia's. Better than Melba's.
Yeah. So, y'all have a good one. We out, y'all. Good night.
On the Brooklyn Bridge tonight, voices strong, knowledge tight. Thorough black talk in the air, changing minds, changing flair. From Brother Tad to Sister K, warriors got things to say. Sister Marcy brings the heat, Brother Blacksmith keeps the beat. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Thursday nights the world will see Black Power Media on a spree. Facebook, YouTube all aligned, breaking free from every bind. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves, they fly underneath the open sky. Every word's a call to fight. Tune in, feel the ancestral light. Social talk and politics, every voice breaks through the matrix. Commentary raw and true, for the many, not the few. Revolutionary waves.